Chelsea were beaten at 3-0 by reigning champions Paris Saint-Germain on home soil, which means that Liam Rossini's side exit the competition after an 8-2 aggregate loss. Wednesday will see three more English teams look to steal their place in the quarter-finals. Newcastle head to Barcelona in the early kick-off with the tie locked at 1 apiece. Liverpool are 1-0 down as they prepare to take on Galatasaray at Anfield, while Spurs have it all to do in their home clash with Atletico Madrid, having of course lost last week's first leg by 5-2. One other result to bring you on Tuesday, and it comes in the Championship where Watford beat Wrexham by 3-1 to move to within 5 points of the playoff positions, whilst Wrexham remain in the top 6, but they could drop out if 7th place Southampton beat Norwich on Wednesday. One other line to bring you from the world of football as well, and it is that Morocco have been declared the winners of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. That's following a ruling by CAF to overturn the original result after Senegal's controversial walk-off in the final on January 18th. Senegal won that game 1-0, but deep into second half stoppage time when it was still goalless, a penalty was awarded to Morocco. Senegal's players then refused to play and left the field. There was a 17-minute delay before their return, and Brahim Diaz missed the subsequent penalty before Senegal's Pape Gueye scored the winner in extra time. However, Morocco complained to African football's governing body, and CAF have now decided that Morocco should be declared the winners. Away from football and in tennis, Katie Boulter has continued her recent impressive form after claiming a hard-fought victory over Jessica Buzas-Monero in the opening round of the Miami Open. That also enabled Boulter to gain revenge for her US Open defeat to the same opponent in 2024. Boulter lost the first set 6-2, but battled back, taking the next two 7-6, 6-4, and the British number 3 will now face 17th seed Clara Tauson in the second round. Finally, in Rugby League, Hull KR have lost second rower Reece Martin for a month due to a broken foot. The 33-year-old sustained the injury in the Robins Challenge Cup victory over Huddersfield Giants on Saturday. They look likely to miss their quarter-final against York Knights as a result. He will also be sidelined for Saturday's Super League clash with Catalan's Dragons. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry, and we begin with football, as it was a mixed night for the English teams in the Champions League on Tuesday night. First of all, Manchester City put in a stubborn performance, but were ultimately beaten at 2-1 on the night by Real Madrid at the Etihad Stadium to exit the competition at 5-1 on aggregate. City's cause was not helped by an early red card for Bernardo Silva. He handled on the line, and Vinicius converted the resulting penalty. Erling Haaland did level for City before the break, and both teams had 2 goals disallowed during the contest before Vinicius scored what proved to be the winner on the night in the 93rd minute. Elsewhere, Arsenal eased their way through to the quarter-finals with a 2-0 victory over Bayer Leverkusen to progress 3-1 on aggregate. Eberechi Eze and Declan Rice scored the goals, whilst Chelsea were beaten at 3-0 by reigning champions Paris Saint-Germain on home soil, which means that Liam Rossini's side exit the competition after an 8-2 aggregate loss. Wednesday will see 3 more English teams look to steal their place in the quarter-finals. Newcastle head to Barcelona in the early kick-off with the tie locked at 1 apiece. Liverpool are 1-0 down as they prepare to take on Galatasaray at Anfield, while Spurs have it all to do in their home clash with Atletico Madrid, having of course lost last week's first leg by 5-2. One other result to bring you on Tuesday, and it comes in the Championship where Watford beat Wrexham by 3-1 to move to within 5 points of the playoff positions, whilst Wrexham remain in the top 6, but they could drop out if 7th place Southampton beat Norwich on Wednesday. One other line to bring you from the world of football as well, and it is that Morocco have been declared the winners of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. That's following a ruling by CAF to overturn the original result after Senegal's controversial walk-off in the final on January 18th. Senegal won that game 1-0, but deep into second half stoppage time when it was still goalless, a penalty was awarded to Morocco. Senegal's players then refused to play and left the field. There was a 17-minute delay before their return, and Brahim Diaz missed the subsequent penalty before Senegal's Pape Gueye scored the winner in extra time. However, Morocco complained to African football's governing body, and CAF have now decided that Morocco should be declared the winners. Away from football and in tennis, Katie Boulter has continued her recent impressive form after claiming a hard-fought victory over Jessica Buzas-Monero in the opening round of the Miami Open. That also enabled Boulter to gain revenge for her US Open defeat to the same opponent in 2024. Boulter lost the first set 6-2, but battled back, taking the next two 7-6, 6-4, and the British number 3 will now face 17th seed Clara Tauson in the second round. Finally, in rugby league, Hull KR have lost second rower Reece Martin for a month due to a broken foot. The 33-year-old sustained the injury in the Robins Challenge Cup victory over Huddersfield Giants on Saturday. He looks likely to miss their quarter-final against York Knights as a result. He will also be sidelined for Saturday's Super League clash with Catalan's Dragons. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry, and we begin with football, as it was a mixed night for the English teams in the Champions League on Tuesday night. First of all, Manchester City put in a stubborn performance, but were ultimately beaten at 2-1 on the night by Real Madrid at the Etihad Stadium to exit the competition at 5-1 on aggregate. City's cause was not helped by an early red card for Bernardo Silva. He handled on the line, and Vinicius converted the resulting penalty. Erling Haaland did level for City before the break, and both teams had 2 goals disallowed during the contest before Vinicius scored what proved to be the winner on the night in the 93rd minute. Elsewhere, Arsenal eased their way through to the quarter-finals with a 2-0 victory over Bayer Leverkusen to progress 3-1 on aggregate. Eberechi Eze and Declan Rice scored the goals, whilst Chelsea were beaten at 3-0 by reigning champions Paris Saint-Germain on home soil, which means that Liam Rossigne's side exit the competition after an 8-2 aggregate loss. Wednesday will see 3 more English teams look to steal their place in the quarter-finals. Newcastle head to Barcelona in the early kick-off with the tie locked at 1 apiece. Liverpool are 1-0 down as they prepare to take on Galatasaray at Anfield, while Spurs have it all to do in their home clash with Atletico Madrid, having, of course, lost last week's first leg by 5-2. One other result to bring you on Tuesday, and it comes in the Championship, where Watford beat Wrexham by 3-1 to move to within 5 points of the playoff positions, whilst Wrexham remain in the top 6, but they could drop out if 7th place Southampton beat Norwich on Wednesday. One other line to bring you from the world of football as well, and it is that Morocco have been declared the winners of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. That's following a ruling by CAF to overturn the original result after Senegal's controversial walk-off in the final on January 18th. Senegal won that game 1-0, but deep into second half stoppage time when it was still goalless, a penalty was awarded to Morocco. Senegal's players then refused to play and left the field. There was a 17-minute delay before their return, and Brahim Diaz missed the subsequent penalty before Senegal's Pape Gueye scored the winner in extra time. However, Morocco complained to African football's governing body, and CAF have now decided that Morocco should be declared the winners. Away from football and in tennis, Katie Boulter has continued her recent impressive form after claiming a hard-fought victory over Jessica Buzas-Monero in the opening round of the Miami Open. That also enabled Boulter to gain revenge for her US Open defeat to the same opponent in 2024. Boulter lost the first set 6-2, but battled back, taking the next two 7-6, 6-4, and the British number 3 will now face 17th seed Clara Tauson in the second round. Finally, in rugby league, Hull KR have lost second rower Reece Martin for a month due to a broken foot. The 33-year-old sustained the injury in the Robins Challenge Cup victory over Huddersfield Giants on Saturday. He looked likely to miss their quarter-final against York Knights as a result. He will also be sidelined for Saturday's Super League clash with Catalan's Dragons. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry, and we begin with football, as it was a mixed night for the English teams in the Champions League on Tuesday night. First of all, Manchester City put in a stubborn performance, but were ultimately beaten 2-1 on the night by Real Madrid at the Etihad Stadium to exit the competition 5-1 on aggregate. City's cause was not helped by an early red card for Bernardo Silva. He handled on the line, and Vinicius converted the resulting penalty. Erling Haaland did level for City before the break, and both teams had 2 goals disallowed during the contest before Vinicius scored what proved to be the winner on the night in the 93rd minute. Elsewhere, Arsenal eased their way through to the quarter-finals with a 2-0 victory over Bayer Leverkusen to progress 3-1 on aggregate. Eberechi Eze and Declan Rice scored the goals, whilst Chelsea were beaten 3-0 by reigning champions Paris Saint-Germain on home soil, which means that Liam Rossigne's side exit the competition after an 8-2 aggregate loss. Wednesday will see 3 more English teams look to steal their place in the quarter-finals. Newcastle head to Barcelona in the early kick-off with the tie locked at 1 apiece. Liverpool are 1-0 down as they prepare to take on Galatasaray at Anfield, while Spurs have it all to do in their home clash with Atletico Madrid, having of course lost last week's first leg by 5-2. One other result to bring you on Tuesday, and it comes in the Championship, where Watford beat Wrexham by 3-1 to move to within 5 points of the playoff positions, whilst Wrexham remain in the top 6, but they could drop out if 7th place Southampton beat Norwich on Wednesday. One other line to bring you from the world of football as well, and it is that Morocco have been declared the winners of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. That's following a ruling by CAF to overturn the original result after Senegal's controversial walk-off in the final on January 18th. Senegal won that game 1-0, but deep into second half stoppage time, when it was still goalless, a penalty was awarded to Morocco. Senegal's players then refused to play and left the field. There was a 17-minute delay before their return, and Brahim Diaz missed the subsequent penalty before Senegal's Pape Gueye scored the winner in extra time. However, Morocco complained to African football's governing body, and CAF have now decided that Morocco should be declared the winners. Away from football and in tennis, Katie Boulter has continued her recent impressive form after claiming a hard-fought victory over Jessica Buzas-Monero in the opening round of the Miami Open. That also enabled Boulter to gain revenge for her US Open defeat to the same opponent in 2024. Boulter lost the first set 6-2, but battled back, taking the next 2 7-6, 6-4, and the British number 3 will now face 17th seed Clara Tauson in the second round. Finally, in Rugby League, Hull KR have lost second rower Reece Martin for a month due to a broken foot. The 33-year-old sustained the injury in the Robins Challenge Cup victory over Huddersfield Giants on Saturday. He looked likely to miss their quarter-final against York Knights as a result. He will also be sidelined for Saturday's Super League clash with Catalan's Dragons. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry, and we begin with football, as it was a mixed night for the English teams in the Champions League on Tuesday night. First of all, Manchester City put in a stubborn performance, but were ultimately beaten 2-1 on the night by Real Madrid at the Etihad Stadium to exit the competition 5-1 on aggregate. City's cause was not helped by an early red card for Bernardo Silva. He handled on the line, and Vinicius converted the resulting penalty. Erling Haaland did level for City before the break, and both teams had 2 goals disallowed during the contest before Vinicius scored what proved to be the winner on the night in the 93rd minute. Elsewhere, Arsenal eased their way through to the quarter-finals with a 2-0 victory over Bayer Leverkusen to progress 3-1 on aggregate. Eberechi Eze and Declan Rice scored the goals, whilst Chelsea were beaten at 3-0 by reigning champions Paris Saint-Germain on home soil, which means that Liam Rossigne's side exit the competition after an 8-2 aggregate loss. Wednesday will see three more English teams look to steal their place in the quarter-finals. Newcastle head to Barcelona in the early kick-off with the tie locked at 1 apiece. Liverpool are 1-0 down as they prepare to take on Galatasaray at Anfield, while Spurs have it all to do in their home clash with Atletico Madrid, having of course lost last week's first leg by 5-2. One other result to bring you on Tuesday, and it comes in the Championship where Watford beat Wrexham by 3-1 to move to within 5 points of the playoff positions, whilst Wrexham remain in the top 6, but they could drop out if 7th place Southampton beat Norwich on Wednesday. One other line to bring you from the world of football as well, and it is that Morocco have been declared the winners of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. That's following a ruling by CAF to overturn the original result after Senegal's controversial walk-off in the final on January 18th. Senegal won that game 1-0, but deep into second half stoppage time when it was still goalless, a penalty was awarded to Morocco. Senegal's players then refused to play and left the field. There was a 17-minute delay before their return, and Brahim Diaz missed the subsequent penalty before Senegal's Pape Gueye scored the winner in extra time. However, Morocco complained to African football's governing body, and CAF have now decided that Morocco should be declared the winners. Away from football and in tennis, Katie Boulter has continued her recent impressive form after claiming a hard-fought victory over Jessica Buzzas-Monero in the opening round of the Miami Open. That also enabled Boulter to gain revenge for her US Open defeat to the same opponent in 2024. Boulter lost the first set 6-2, but battled back, taking the next two 7-6, 6-4, and the British number 3 will now face 17th seed Clara Tauson in the second round. Finally, in Rugby League, Hull KR have lost second rower Reece Martin for a month due to a broken foot. The 33-year-old sustained the injury in the Robins Challenge Cup victory over Huddersfield Giants on Saturday. They look likely to miss their quarter-final against York Knights as a result. He will also be sidelined for Saturday's Super League clash with Catalan's Dragons. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry, and we begin with football, as it was a mixed night for the English teams in the Champions League on Tuesday night. First of all, Manchester City put in a stubborn performance, but were ultimately beaten at 2-1 on the night by Real Madrid at the Etihad Stadium to exit the competition at 5-1 on aggregate. City's cause was not helped by an early red card for Bernardo Silva. He handled on the line, and Vinicius converted the resulting penalty. Erling Haaland did level for City before the break, and both teams had 2 goals disallowed during the contest before Vinicius scored what proved to be the winner on the night in the 93rd minute. Elsewhere, Arsenal eased their way through to the quarter-finals with a 2-0 victory over Bayer Leverkusen to progress 3-1 on aggregate. Eberechi Eze and Declan Rice scored the goals, whilst Chelsea were beaten at 3-0 by reigning champions Paris Saint-Germain on home soil, which means that Liam Rossigne's side exit the competition after an 8-2 aggregate loss. Wednesday will see 3 more English teams look to steal their place in the quarter-finals. Newcastle head to Barcelona in the early kick-off with the tie locked at 1 apiece. Liverpool are 1-0 down as they prepare to take on Galatasaray at Anfield, while Spurs have it all to do in their home clash with Atletico Madrid, having of course lost last week's first leg by 5-2. One other result to bring you on Tuesday, and it comes in the Championship where Watford beat Wrexham by 3-1 to move to within 5 points of the playoff positions, whilst Wrexham remain in the top 6, but they could drop out if 7th place Southampton beat Norwich on Wednesday. One other line to bring you from the world of football as well, and it is that Morocco have been declared the winners of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. That's following a ruling by CAF to overturn the original result after Senegal's controversial walk-off in the final on January 18th. Senegal won that game 1-0, but deep into second half stoppage time when it was still goalless, a penalty was awarded to Morocco. Senegal's players then refused to play and left the field. There was a 17-minute delay before their return, and Brahim Diaz missed the subsequent penalty before Senegal's Pape Gueye scored the winner in extra time. However, Morocco complained to African football's governing body, and CAF have now decided that Morocco should be declared the winners. Away from football and in tennis, Katie Boulter has continued her recent impressive form after claiming a hard-fought victory over Jessica Buzzas-Monero in the opening round of the Miami Open. That also enabled Boulter to gain revenge for her US Open defeat to the same opponent in 2024. Boulter lost the first set 6-2, but battled back, taking the next two 7-6, 6-4, and the British number 3 will now face 17th seed Clara Tauson in the second round. Finally, in Rugby League, Hull KR have lost second rower Reece Martin for a month due to a broken foot. The 33-year-old sustained the injury in the Robins Challenge Cup victory over Huddersfield Giants on Saturday. They look likely to miss their quarter-final against York Knights as a result. He will also be sidelined for Saturday's Super League clash with Catalan's Dragons. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry, and we begin with football, as it was a mixed night for the English teams in the Champions League on Tuesday night. First of all, Manchester City put in a stubborn performance, but were ultimately beaten at 2-1 on the night by Real Madrid at the Etihad Stadium to exit the competition at 5-1 on aggregate. City's cause was not helped by an early red card for Bernardo Silva. He handled on the line, and Vinicius converted the resulting penalty. Erling Haaland did level for City before the break, and both teams had 2 goals disallowed during the contest before Vinicius scored what proved to be the winner on the night in the 93rd minute. Elsewhere, Arsenal eased their way through to the quarter-finals with a 2-0 victory over Bayer Leverkusen to progress 3-1 on aggregate. Eberechi Eze and Declan Rice scored the goals, whilst Chelsea were beaten at 3-0 by reigning champions Paris Saint-Germain on home soil, which means that Liam Rossigne's side exit the competition after an 8-2 aggregate loss. Wednesday will see 3 more English teams look to steal their place in the quarter-finals. Newcastle head to Barcelona in the early kick-off with the tie locked at 1 apiece. Liverpool are 1-0 down as they prepare to take on Galatasaray at Anfield, while Spurs have it all to do in their home clash with Atletico Madrid, having of course lost last week's first leg by 5-2. One other result to bring you on Tuesday, and it comes in the Championship, where Watford beat Wrexham by 3-1 to move to within 5 points of the playoff positions, whilst Wrexham remain in the top 6, but they could drop out if 7th place Southampton beat Norwich on Wednesday. One other line to bring you from the world of football as well, and it is that Morocco have been declared the winners of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. That's following a ruling by CAF to overturn the original result after Senegal's controversial walk-off in the final on January 18th. Senegal won that game 1-0, but deep into second half stoppage time when it was still goalless, a penalty was awarded to Morocco. Senegal's players then refused to play and left the field. There was a 17-minute delay before their return, and Brahim Diaz missed the subsequent penalty before Senegal's Pape Gueye scored the winner in extra time. However, Morocco complained to African football's governing body, and CAF have now decided that Morocco should be declared the winners. Away from football and in tennis, Katie Boulter has continued her recent impressive form after claiming a hard-fought victory over Jessica Buzzas-Monero in the opening round of the Miami Open. That also enabled Boulter to gain revenge for her US Open defeat to the same opponent in 2024. Boulter lost the first set 6-2, but battled back, taking the next two 7-6, 6-4, and the British number 3 will now face 17th seed Clara Tauson in the second round. Finally, in Rugby League, Hull KR have lost second rower Reece Martin for a month due to a broken foot. The The 33-year-old sustained the injury in the Robins Challenge Cup victory over Huddersfield Giants on Saturday. They look likely to miss their quarter-final against York Knights as a result.
Host Colchester United, the hosts currently in second position, 4 points clear in the automatic.
Minute. Then conceded again to make it 4 after 22 minutes. It's Vicario who came off the bench for him last week. It's Vicario who starts instead of him this evening. Danso and Richarlison also moved out of the starting 11. Dragusin and Simmons come in to start. Atletico Madrid have made just 2 changes. Oblak is a forced change. He's injured. In comes Musso to replace him. And then Pubel comes out and Molina comes into the starting 11. The game's underway. It was Atleti who got us kicked off. They go from left to right in the opening 45 minutes. It's the rather sporting light blue with the red and white trim. Spurs in the all white with the navy blue trim going from right to left. It's myself, Tom Wilson, joined in the commentary booth by Kieran Graham. I'll just bring him in a moment, but here's Spence at the moment in the heart of the Atleti half. Centrally now for Porro, lofted ball forward over the top towards the right hand side. The heads go up, it's away from Lenormand, but it's going to be picked up by that right hand side with it being battled for there by Romero, who's up there early on. Tottenham 0, Atletico Madrid 0, 5-2 on aggregate. You get the sense, Kieran, already that Tottenham Hotspur will want a very quick start in this one, and they need one.
Need a quick start. I covered Sporting Lisbon yesterday, and they were 3-0 down coming into it. And they looked brilliant from the first second of the game. They came back, they did it. They won 5-0 on the night. A little bit different. Tottenham are playing against Atletico Madrid, a so well-drilled out-of-possession side at times when needed. Simeone, all he will have spoken about all week is how switched on they will have to be. Yes, Spurs really struggling in the league as the long throwing goes in, well cleared away though by Lookman. We expect a lot of possession today, really, for Spurs. They've got to create chances from the first stages of this one. We see a long ball go up to Tel and Colomwani, 2 Frenchmen on top. They've got to be busy with each other.
Ball is with Atleti. Given away though as Simmons picks up, then he too can't find a teammate. Scrappy from both sides as Spurs feed it through to midfield. Colomwani slips as he tries to flick it round the corner. Hanchko, I think, thought he'd been fouled there, but referee waves play on as Atleti have it into a central position though by Lookman, and it's lost once again. Neither side able to keep possession as Colomwani shoves his man to the ground. That'll be an early free kick to the visitors, and a scrappy start. 2 minutes in, Tottenham 0, Atletico Madrid 0. The other 2 games that kicked off at 8 PM, Bayern Munich versus Atalanta, 6-1 victory for Atalanta to try and come back from in that one, and Liverpool as well are behind from their first leg. They host Galatasaray with the Turkish side winning 1-0 last week. As Atleti play it forward to their captain Griezmann, poor ball from him. Dragusin has it into the feet of Colomwani. It's zipped around the corner for Tell. He can't hold on to it though, cleared away by the visitors. That's a great touch from Julian Alvarez, but he's lost possession. Spence to Gray. Gray backwards over halfway to Van der Ven. A frantic pace about the game so far.
Yeah, it is. But Tottenham certainly seeming that little bit more settled on the ball. Haven't created a chance as of yet. It's going to be nice to see Archie Gray playing his actual position today, seeming to be in central midfield. I know Igor Tudor, he touched upon the fact that he's played everywhere but his position for maybe about 2 years now. Archie Gray, even before he joined Tottenham at Leeds, he was playing right back the whole season, which I guess has allowed him for managers to trust him to play in other positions. That's a good skill to have that variety and be dependable in many areas. But it'll be nice to see him in midfield. First corner of the game coming up, and as expected, to the home side.
Yeah, Spurs who won it. Tell will take it. It will be an away swinger from the far side. The referee though, he's just having a word with a couple inside the area before he's happy for this one to be played in. Just speaking with Romero, who's just stood in front of Musa. Daniel Siebert, the German official, taking charge of this one as it is now swung in by Tell towards the back post. Goalkeeper comes, gets a hand to it. Musa through a crowd of bodies. He's able to get a right arm to the ball and wins the free kick as well. Brave goalkeeping, because if he doesn't get that, Kieran, And I'm not saying there's a point blank header there from Romero, but he's got a pretty good opportunity.
Yeah, he's got a big game today. Obviously, no Oblak, who is the main goalkeeper at Atletico Madrid. Spurs will have spoke about that. Put Musso under pressure. I think that's why they floated that cross in. I can't say I'm ever a fan of those styles of corners. The floated ones towards the back post where they almost just chip it up. Doesn't have a lot of power. It allows the defensive side to really adapt and go try and meet the box. It gives them the extra seconds to do so. We're now just seeing Musso go along now.
Ball over halfway from the goalkeeper, nodded further by Hanchko. Sarr underneath it. Now here's Simmons. Lovely feet from him. He made an impact off the bench against Liverpool last time out for Tottenham Hotspur. A 1-1 draw at Anfield is a very, very good result. And the first game for Igor Tudor, the Spurs boss, where he didn't lose. Lost his first 4 in charge, of course, under the stewardship now they are of the Croatian. Here is Atleti. Cardosa across towards the far side for Ruggeri, down the line to Lookman. Lookman goes one way, then the other, cuts in field on his favoured right, just looking for teammates, trying to open something up. Out towards the right hand side for Griezmann, gets an overlapping run, doesn't use him. Griezmann trying to find room for a shot, it's blocked, it comes back towards his right hand side and it's in the back of the net. It's across the face of goal from Simeone and Lookman on hand, but the flag is up on the near side. I don't know if this one will count. Lookman's pointing towards the official, asking if it's him. It could be either of them.
Yeah, it really could be. It might be Simeone, it might be Lookman, but it's the first time they've come forwards and Spurs just looked a mess already. Well, Simeone is miles on side. See him put it across. Is he just ahead? It might be the boot of Spence that just plays him on it. He's tight. It is very close. No matter what it is, it's an unbelievable cross. And Giuliano Simeone towards that back post. The referee is still awaiting confirmation. Looked close.
It did look close. 6 minutes in, Tottenham 0, Atletico Madrid 0. The ball in the back of the net, but we'll have to wait and see if Atleti have drawn even further ahead. The referee has now indicated it was offside. It must have been very, very tight.
Yeah, it must have been really close. I think it's that stretch leg of Spence trying to actually block the cross that made it close. I'm sure in a couple of minutes we'll probably get shown a real angle of it, but a wake-up call. Spurs, they can't be allowing that. All it takes is that goal for Atletico Madrid first, and the tie's completely done. It already feels done with how good Atletico Madrid are as a side, but as the Sporting Lisbon game told me yesterday, you can never say never in the Champions League. In these games, it's the greatest competition in the sport for a reason. It's to expect the unexpected, but Spurs just need to use that to settle down a little bit.
And Spurs might take some confidence from the fact that Atletico Madrid's away record in this competition hasn't been great as of late. Only one of the 4 wins they had in the league phase were away from home. That was a 3-2 win away at PSV. In fact, they've won just one of their previous 6 away in the competition. But they are, of course, coming to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this evening with a 3-goal buffer. And although, as Kieran mentioned, it was done last night, it was overturned in the game between in the North Arctic Circle with Bodo Glimt and Sporting Lisbon. It is not always the case. As Sarr comes forward, he gets a push in the back. That'll be a Spurs free kick just inside opposition territory. It's Julian Alvarez who got a little bit too close for comfort. And Spurs will win back the ball 8 minutes into the game. Spurs 0, Atletico Madrid 0. Just seen a replay now of the ball in the back of the net, but ruled out for offside. Simeone picks it up. It's fired across the face of goal. And yeah, it's almost the boot of Spence playing him on, but I'd say about 80% of his body's actually off, Kieran.
Yeah, it was. It's the right decision in the end from the linesman. Good spot from him. But yeah, as expected, it was Jed Spence who was the closest to keep him on. But even that's more confidence for Atletico Madrid as well, isn't it? The first time they've come forward, they looked that dangerous. Hanch great with some nice touches, though.
Yeah, that's brilliant from him. Out wide on that right-hand side for Romero once again, who's still up the other end of the pitch where you wouldn't normally see him except for set pieces. Move breaks down for Spurs, although they've won it back on halfway now with Dragusin. The Romanian goes down the line to Porro, infield to Romero. He's one of quite a few Argentinians on the pitch this evening. Of course, Simeone and Alvarez for Atletico Madrid. Molina as well in the 11, and Musa in goal. Of course, Simeone himself, the manager. Here is Spence down the line to Tell. Good turn from him, chops in on his right, comes back to his left, and then back to his right once more. Simmons gets involved. Tell has it again. Dutchman to Dutchman round the corner. It's a decent move there from Simmons, breaks down, lovely sell from Spence, infield to Tell once more, on the edge, trying to find room for a strike, he curls one towards goal. It's a decent effort, it's a shot on target for Tottenham Hotspur. It's a comfortable save though.
Yeah, the Frenchman just never really gets it out of his feet. Matthias Tell there, he opens it up, goes across, and in the end it is straight at Musso, an easy one for the goalkeeper to take it. He was just so over it, but he was desperate to get the shot off because he found himself in a decent area. But for the fact that he was so over it, he couldn't generate any form of power.
10 minutes gone, still goalless. 5-2 to Atleti on aggregate as Lenormand has it, has to turn away from a little bit of pressure, goes backwards towards Musso, the goalkeeper. Across now on that right hand side for Lenormand once more, takes it on his right boot, has a look forward. He was one of 4 goal scorers last week. Llorente, Griezmann, and then 2 for Julian Alvarez. The 2 goals for Spurs came from Pedro Porro and Dominic Solanke. They'll of course prove to either be lifelines or consolations in the context of the tie. Molina has it with the throw down the right hand side for Atletico Madrid, and the referee is having a word with the Argentine to make sure he's not wasting any time. He's indicating something and then points to his watch. So Molina's had his first warning, only 10 minutes into the game. Here's Spence. Griezmann picks up the loose ball as Spencer tried to go down the line, then Gray has it, he moves it centrally. That's a good ball for Porro, dinked over the top for Tell to chase. It's Colomboani actually, sorry, on that right hand side, pulls the trigger, but no real contact from the Frenchman. It's a tame effort and it's a comfortable collection from the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I don't know if that's even just a touch from Colomboani. I think he winds up the right boot for the volley and maybe tries to sell the defender and touch it round him, and he just gets it all wrong. It was hard to tell whether that was even a shot or not. From him, whatever it wasn't good, was it? And it just allowed possession back to Atletico Madrid. They look okay in build-up, the Spurs, don't they? There just doesn't seem to be enough attacking bodies in and around or attacking quality when they get to that stage. I think Colomboani and Matthias Tell, they're both quite rash when it comes to decisive moments.
Ball out towards the right hand side for the visitors, into the channel for Llorente to chase. He's in behind as well. Decent first touch, but Spence was covering quickly and he's just knocked the ball out of play, and that's the first corner of the game for Atletico Madrid on this right hand side.
Yeah, first corner coming up for the visiting side as Simeone handshakes Max Llorente, who won that one. It's going to be Julian Alvarez who goes out to take it. It'll be no stranger to playing in England, of course, from his time at Manchester City, but let's see if they can cause some problems from it.
It will be an away swinger. Alvarez into the area towards the front post, nodded away by Sarr. Llorente hits one on the edge of the box, but that's immediately blocked by Xavi Simons, and he's hunting down the loose ball. It's gone over halfway and back into the possession of Atletico Madrid, and Simons continues the chase as Musso has it now to Llorente as Matthias Tell comes to join the fight. I referred to him as a Dutchman a few minutes ago. Of course he is from France. Matthias Tell, here's Hanchko. Towards that left hand side for Ruggeri. He doesn't see any immediate out ball and sweeps one infield instead. It's a little bit risky as Sarr tried to sniff it out. Gray eventually does win back possession. That's brilliant from him. And Tottenham will come away with the ball. Van der Ven just over halfway towards his left hand side for Spence. Touch out of his feet backwards towards the Dutchman and across to Gray, and now Dragusin forward on that right hand side now for Pedro Porro, who's dropped in deep to receive possession. 13 minutes gone, Tottenham 0, Atleti 0. Romero to Sarr, to Simons on halfway, pressure from Alvarez, backwards to Gray, across to Romero, and then Van der Ven once more towards the left hand side for Spence, and Simons again keeping the ball well.
Yeah, they're doing okay at this stage, Tottenham, but you feel like they need a goal at least before the half-hour mark. We're already 13 and a half minutes in. That wasn't great from Pedro Porro. Heavy pass back towards Dragusin, just an unforced error, and they give away the cheapest of throw-ins. Situations like these, you think Atletico Madrid, they're going to try and kill around 20 seconds every single time. They need to get going in terms of the intensity to Igor Tudor's side, because like I said, some of the passing, getting their way into Atletico Madrid's half has been okay. Actually, Gray looks quite composed on the ball so far, but apart from that, they're not really threatening Atletico.
Sarr tries to win the ball back from Alvarez. Referee waves play on as Atletico still have it. Sweeps across towards the right hand side, now into the feet of Simeone. He moves it to Griezmann, round the corner to Llorente. This is good football. He's all on his own. Llorente inside the area, holds it up, waits for teammates to come. It's across the face of goal. It's cleared off the line by Romero. Almost kept alive there by Molina, but it breaks down as Tell has it down this left flank. The Frenchman's going to have a run at his man, but he's crowded out by 3 in the end, and it's another man from France in Griezmann to win the ball back. That's brilliant from Llorente on the turn. Strong challenge from Xavi Simons, doesn't win the ball. Llorente, poor pass, moves, breaks down, and Tottenham will win back possession. Well, he was too quick for his teammates there, Llorente, on a couple of occasions.
Yeah, last 5 minutes he's come to life, hasn't he? On that right hand side, looking absolutely brilliant. They can't stop him when he's on the move. Actually, great. Spreads a lovely dive ball. Here comes a rare Spurs attack.
It's a great touch as well from Tell on the byline. He's got again 2 to beat and tries to go through the middle of them. Gets a corner for his efforts. It bounced off Molina out towards this left hand side. 15 minutes gone. Tottenham 0, Atleti 0. The first goal was always going to be so important. And Spurs will have to feel that they need to get it. They might get it from this set piece. It will be an in-swinging delivery. Well, Tottenham Hotspurs, the centre-halves come up from the back, namely Romero. It'll be Tell to take. Took the last corner, that swung away from goal. This one will curl inwards. Raises his arm, right boot at the ball, too close to the goalkeeper who punches away. Referee says play on as he'd gone down, but then it's swept back in by Tell, and again Musso comes, and again he punches it away. Dragusin this time keeps possession for Spurs. He tries to whip one back in, takes a deflection off for Alvarez, who does just enough to prevent a corner, but they have given possession back to Tottenham Hotspur. Gray will have it. And now Spence back to Gray. Porro into the area once more, looking towards the back stick for Romero, nodded away by Lenormand. And picked up by Mateus Tell. It's good pressure from Tottenham Hotspur. 16 minutes in. Tell with Llorente to beat. He's doubled up now by Lookman as Xavi Simons provides some support. Sarr essentially for Gray. Gray laterally once more for Dragusin. He's only really got Porro to use on that right hand side. Have to cut back and go to halfway for Gray. And Tottenham have looked pretty decent in this first 17 minutes, putting pressure on Atletico Madrid, but the Spaniards, as you'd expect, Kieran, are holding firm for now.
Yeah, they are. Just once again looking really solid, not really letting Spurs get through. When they get into the final third, it doesn't really feel like there's that option for Spurs to create a big opportunity as of yet. I know the home side will still be trying to suss out these tactics from Atletico Madrid. They're starting to grow in a little bit of confidence. Mateus Tell's seen it that little bit more. He's actually driving at his man as well, which is quite important. He's not just taking the laid-back approach of not wanting to risk anything, but and you can see his teammates are feeling that as well, because they're getting him on the ball every time. Well,
at this point last week they were 3-0 down and they'd made their first change to bring Kinski off and bring Vicario on. It's been a much better start to the game than it was last week. Here's Romero across towards Dragusin on that right hand side. Heavy touch, but gets away with it as Porro supports. He's got one to beat in Ruggeri. Doesn't beat him, moves it instead for Gray towards the edge for Simons. He opens up and hits one, that's blocked, and now Griezmann can come away with it. Jed Spence a little bit too close for comfort on the Frenchman, right under the nose of Daniel Siebert, the German official. That will be a free kick to Atletico Madrid. Maybe a touch soft there. It looked like shoulder to shoulder, but Griezmann going down and right in front of the referee, so it was going to give that.
Yeah, exactly. I thought, but Jed Spence was frustrated with the decision, wasn't he? I thought, in my view, that he'd done just enough to get his shoulder across, get across his man, and just be too physical for him. But for giving the free kick there, that chance moment to go, Max Llorente causing all sorts of problems again. A couple of minutes ago down the right hand side, probably hesitated a little bit too long in the end of the experienced Atleti man, but 18 minutes into this one, still 0-0.
Still 0-0. You'd say that Atletico Madrid have had the better of the chances, despite Spurs looking much better than they did last week. Had the ball in the back of the net as well, the Spaniards, but ruled out correctly for offside. Lookman had tapped it home, thinking he'd got his 5th goal of the season for Diego Simeone's side. Wasn't to be. Thrown in towards the right hand side. Gray wins it back, boots it into the air over halfway. Lenormand wins the header, chested down by Gray once more. Probably been the best player for Spurs in the opening 19 minutes, it's got to be said. Spurs 0, Atleti 0, and Gray gets it now from Romero. Real confidence about the young man as it's forward towards halfway for Tell. He's got one to beat in Molina, who stayed ever so close to him. Followed him over halfway and way out of the defensive line, but it doesn't really work for Spurs. It goes over the top. It'll be collected by Musso. He plays it out to the feet of Johnny Cardosa. Bulgarian, that left-hand side, good pressure from Spurs, forcing them back to Musso. Kolomowani really close to Musso as he has to play it towards the right. Referee says no foul as there was some contact. It's then cleared away by Athletic. Move breaks down though as Simmons packs it back up on this left-hand side. He goes down under the challenge. Referee is interested in that one. It will be a free kick for Tottenham Hotspur. Some real pressure on the back line there.
Yeah, they did. And Xavi Simmons, they've got to get him on the ball that little bit more. He's drifting wide to the left-hand side every single time. More of a natural number 10, but he's probably been given a role, hasn't he, where they're just telling him, you pick up those pockets of space, whether it be on the left, the right, central, but they just have to find him that little bit more. We know he's such a talented player from his time at Leipzig. Of course, came through the ranks of the likes of PSG and Barcelona as well, but just hasn't got going yet this season.
Yeah, just 2 goals and 5 assists in all competitions. Very similar to, I think, Florian Wirtz at Liverpool. Has taken some time to get going and maybe has only got going too little too late, really. Porro will take the free kick. 20 minutes gone, still 0-0. You're listening to Off-Tube Independent Studio-based commentary. Could this be the breakthrough? Pedro Porro lines this free kick up. Waits for the all clear from the referee. It's a loaded penalty area at the back stick. There are 4 or 5 white shirts. Then they make their move towards midway. Ball into the area is a poor one from Porro. It's headed away by Lenormand. It's out of play for a Spurs throw. The deliveries have to be better than that.
Yeah, it's not a great ball in, and there's no one really attacking it either. They just weren't on the same wavelength. The free kick taker and the players lining up, they'd all lined up at the back post, made slight slow runs in towards the middle, but never really made a front post run. I think that's what Pedro Porro was saying. Not one of you really moved towards the front, so maybe a bit of lapse of communication there.
Yeah, miscommunication potentially. Dragusin will take the throw, preparing a long one. The Romanian launches it in towards the front post. It's flicked into the air by Romero, partially away towards this left-hand side for Dragusin, who sends it back into the area, and a shot comes in from Tell, which again is on target, but straight down the throat of Joan Musso. He plays long up towards Julian Alvarez, who fouls his man. That'll be a free kick.
Yeah, clear free kick from Alvarez. I don't mind it from Marticella. Once again, he's got the confidence to take the risks. He's gone for it on the turn. It's really difficult technique. He's probably actually done pretty well to keep it down and keep it on target. You'd never expect him to score with the angle that he was actually at, or the way his body was angled as he goes to hit it. Like I said, he was kind of on the spin as he takes it on, but here he's again down the left tail. Yeah,
bright start from Tell, plays it back to Spence. Once on his right boot, finds Simmons. It's a heavy touch from him. He does well on the second to find Tell once more on this left. He's only got one defender to beat and beats him. Can he get a ball into the area? He can. Llorente just come across to close him down, and I think by the time the ball had come in, it was potentially already out of play. 22.5 minutes gone. Atleti goal kick is the decision. Tottenham 0. Atletico Madrid 0. It's 0-0 in all of the 8 o'clock kickoffs. Bayern Munich hosting Atalanta and Liverpool hosting Galatasaray. Not a goal scored just yet. Well, we were treated to 9 in the early kickoff, weren't we? Barcelona 7, Newcastle 2. An unbelievable scoreline as Simmons has it, brings it forward towards the final third, tries to pick out Kolomowani, who's been absolutely starved of possession so far, you have to say. Atletico Madrid win it back. They clear their lines for Molina, although it does bounce off Simmons. That'll be watched out of play for a goal kick. Well, we are a quarter of the way through the game, and although we haven't had a breakthrough yet, I think it's been a pretty exciting affair so far. Hopefully that continues, and Kim will take you through to half-time.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tom. As we see Simeone back in the orders as ever once he decides to stay so focused. You can't let a lead like this slip against the side who are just begging for any form of momentum. They're coming off a good result, of course, aren't they, Spurs? Away at Anfield, a valuable point, one they needed, because all the signs around them in that relegation battle all picked up a point as well. So that late goal from Richarlison was so important for them. They've kind of built on that a little bit in terms of the confidence in possession.
Yeah, they have, and I think the key thing is that Richarlison has been dropped. Here goes Tell.
And it's Tell in on goal. He goes for goal at the front post. It's well saved by Musso and out for a corner, but Tell has definitely been the live West.
Yeah, Tell's been absolutely brilliant. I was just going to say Richarlison maybe dropped is the wrong word, but he's been rested, hasn't he, clearly, for that big game against Nottingham Forest at the weekend. That just maybe speaks to how important Tudor sees him for that relegation battle, but that's brilliant from Tell. He's been a real live wire. There were many Spurs player last week criticised for not trying. You could not say the same for Tell.
As we now see this corner ready to be taken by Tell. All surrounding the goalkeeper. Muso's dealing with everything so far, isn't he? I think he's made 3 saves from Matthews Tell so far in this opening 24 and a half minutes. So those two getting to know each other pretty well as Tell hangs it into the area. Dangerous delivery, evades everybody, falls to Julian Alvarez at the back post. What a touch from him to get away from Pedro Porro, not once but twice, and then he switches play to the right hand side. What a ball from Julian Alvarez, unbelievable play from him. Griezmann slows it down a little bit, and there's Tell that gets just a foot in to just slow down the attack for Atletico Madrid, but unbelievable from Alvarez in the middle.
Wow, that's crazy, isn't it? Beats 2 players, pulls it back and swings it across towards the right hand side, inch perfect onto the toes of Griezmann. I mean, some player, Julian Alvarez, isn't he? The amount of goals that he's scored in the last few years, this season alone, 16 goals in all competitions and 7 assists as well. It's unbelievable.
Yes, we now see Adamo Luckman on the ball. He plays it down the left hand side for Ruggieri, looks for a cutback. It's going to be cleared away by Pants out towards the right hand side for Dragusin, who does just enough to play it off of Julian Alvarez. Well, Liverpool have taken the lead at home to Galatasaray. It's Dominic Szoboszlai with that goal. Feels like he's popping up with some really key moments this season for Liverpool. There he is again to do so. Harry Kane has just scored a penalty. I believe he missed a penalty and got to retake it, maybe because of Sportiello being off his line. Second time of asking, he converts it. Cullen Wine is giving away a free kick. He can't believe the decision of the referee. He's adamant it should be a free kick. It's Adamo Luckman who's been helped to his feet. We see it again. That's a clear free kick.
Yeah, just rolls it through his legs quite smartly there. Luckman mentioned players that have been on great form this season. He's definitely one of them. That the move to Atleti has really worked out. Rolls it through Cullen Wine's legs. He just catches him, the Frenchman. I said before, he's been starved of possession. He absolutely has, hasn't he? The PSG loanee. I think when he gets the ball and when he can get involved, he can be really important for Tottenham Hotspur. It's just so few and far between, especially in this formation. Tell's down on my paper as a supporting striker, but he's basically a left winger because Simmons is doing that free role, and there's just not enough going through Colin Moani.
No, it's not so far. He's really struggling to make his mark in this one. Hasn't had many great performances yet, if any, for Tottenham since joining on loan. Of course, there's no Dominic Solanke in the squad. He's not on the bench. Richarlison suspended for this game for yellow cards in this competition, so that's why he's not in the squad as well. There's going to be a yellow card for Ruggieri for a late challenge on that far side. No real complaints about that one, but you look at that Spurs bench, it's all younger players, and the senior players really, and the outfield senior players, are all midfielders or defenders, so if you're still pushing for even 2 goals late on, there's no real attackers to turn to.
Yeah, Tudor had to bring on a couple of the kids, didn't he, at the weekend against Liverpool. Might have to do the same again this evening. I mean, you just look at the injury list, it's absolutely huge. It feels like it has been huge for Spurs for maybe a year and a half, hasn't it? I mean, maybe even you go back to the start of Ange Postecoglou's tenure, even he struggled with injuries, so it is really difficult. I mean, they still shouldn't be where they are in the league, but you have to feel for them, given that they've not had their top 11, their first choice for some time now.
Yeah, Lucas Bergvall, of course, returning from injury. He's been a big miss. He is on the bench today. Postecoglou, Postecoglou almost brought to Spurs. He was adamant that he wanted to bring in Johnny Cardozo. He's been pretty quiet so far for Atletico Madrid, the former Real Betis man with number 5 in midfield. It's just a lot of off-the-ball running for midfielders of Atletico Madrid at the moment, isn't it? So you see a long ball, header won by Romero up against Cardozo. Archie Gray nips in to come away with it again. He's done that quite a few times, hasn't he, in this opening 28 and a half minutes. You can tell, as much as we've not seen him play in that position for quite a while, he's comfortable there.
Yeah, you have to feel for him as Sarge boots the ball out of play for Atleti throw. You have to feel for Gray, because the point that you made earlier, he's been playing out of position for 2 or 3 years now. Brought into Tottenham, and because of the injury crisis was playing at centre half for the majority of his first season in the Premier League. Now, of course, in the Champions League, he's finally getting an opportunity to show what he can do in central midfield. Of course, it's probably too little too late, given that his side are down by 3 goals with plenty of work to do, but yeah, he's playing brilliantly.
Yeah, here's Telly, whips it in, a great ball into the area, and there is Randall Colomwani. He finally has his moment, and Tottenham have a goal back. It's a massive moment in this one for the home side. I said they needed a goal in the opening half an hour. Well, they've just about squeezed it in. 29 minutes on the clock. There's no surprise. Matthias tells at the heart of it. He hangs up a beautiful ball. Great header from his fellow Frenchman. It's 1-0 and the tie is on.
Wow, how important could that goal be? And he's not been involved, as you mentioned, at all, Colin Moani, but he does what all good strikers do. He just puts himself between the posts, and he knows that if he does that, the ball's probably going to come to him. And in it comes. It's an inch-perfect ball, and it's a great header from the Frenchman. The two Frenchmen linking up with Tell, whipping the ball in. I mean, I said that the 2 goals in the first leg from Dominic Solanke and from Pedro Porro could be consolations, but they could have been lifelines. It might just be the latter.
And here's Lookman into the penalty area, looking for an instant response. They go for goal in the end, and it's straight down the throat, and an easy save for Vicario, who bowls it straight out for Xavi Simons. He's going to drive forwards on the counter-attack. Llorente is driving with him, plays it down the line for Tell, who's got a knack for it tonight, hasn't he? He plays it off his man, that trickles for a corner, and those Tottenham fans behind the goal are up for this one. Yeah,
and I'm not surprised at all. That goal must have absolutely lifted them. Half an hour gone, they'll be believing now. They'll have seen the result yesterday, and they'll know that this is not out of the question for Tottenham Hotspur to come back into it. One more goal, and we're only in the 1-goal territory. Anything can happen.
Yeah, it's his 4th goal of the competition. Randall Colomwani's much preferred playing in this than he has the Premier League. That is for sure. As we see Matthias Tell, the man over this corner kick, well, he's been fantastic, hasn't he? The young man playing with a little bit more expression. He's a little bit wider than what we've seen of him as of late as well. I've always thought of him to be more of a winger than the striker. He doesn't just have that build, does he? Or even a striker's instinct, really, to play as the number 9. He's been brilliant off the left wing so far. 31 minutes on the clock. Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. It's 5-3 on aggregate now as Tell whips in the corner. It's heavy towards the back post. Commentators curse, because I've just been bigging him up, and that is one of the worst corners you'll see.
Yeah, he's probably too excited from getting the goal. You can understand if he was breathing a little bit heavy. Great cross in. We've just seen a replay of it now from Matthias Tell. If only the cross from the corner was as good as that to Randall Colomwani. But yeah, it's just time to settle down now for Spurs. They can give themselves a little bit of a breather for a few minutes and then try and go again. They've been great in this opening 32 minutes, and as we mentioned, it's Matthias Tell that's been at the heart of everything. But likewise, Archie Gray's been great, hasn't he? Just kept things ticking over. They haven't had too much to do defensively in your Tudor's side. You would say that Atletico Madrid have been a little bit, should we say, underwhelming?
Yeah, exactly. Well, they'll be ruining their rare missed opportunities. They had a couple with Llorente bombing down the right-hand side where they had some really good, almost chance-creating chances, but the final ball never found anybody. As we now see Matthias Tell in the middle, he looks towards Xavi Simons. He goes down. He's clearly held the whole time. He can't believe that the referee's not given them the decision there. As we now see Ruggieri out towards Ademola Lookman, who's in possession, finds Griezmann himself, goes across for Cardozo to Molina. Now it's going to be with Simeone, Argentine to Argentine. It's Llorente back to Simeone again. He plays it in the middle looking for Cardozo. Challenging from Colomwani is just a little bit excessive again, and he's been penalised again for another free kick in a crossing position.
Yeah, one more, you'd think he's in the book, wouldn't you, Kieran? The one when Lookman rolled it through his legs about 7 or 8 minutes ago, he caught him then, and he's just gone in the back of his man here. Cardozo it is who's gone down. As you said, they were just about, I think, to whip the ball in Atletico Madrid. They can do that now, though, from the free kick.
Antoine Griezmann's the man over this one. He looks ahead. The big centre halves will be coming up in the likes of Lenormand and Hanko. Soloff in the starting lineup either in this one. They covered their playoff round against Club Brugge a few weeks back. Soloff was unbelievable in that game. He's got a real handful of goals. As you see, Griezmann hands it up to the back post for Lookman, who brings it down in the penalty area. Looks for a cross into the penalty area, blocked away by Spence, but it goes back toward the Nigerian international, who cuts inside, plays it all the way back for Molina. Now it's going to be Griezmann. First time ball to the left is a good one. Ruggieri. Tottenham not really had any control since scoring that 1 goal to get back in this tie. Alvarez In for Marcus Llorente, who's going to drive forwards. Thought about a shot at goal, didn't go for it anyway. Hangs it up towards the back post. Vicario's flapped at it. I don't know if the cross took a deflection. That's why he's done so. I thought it didn't. Maybe he could have just watched it out, but it did take that deflection. This is, you see Porro clear his lines. Llorente wins it back, but Atletico Madrid seem to have settled since conceding.
Yeah, they hadn't settled before that, which is the point that you're sort of alluding to. They were quite quiet. They were very underwhelming. Of course, they had the ball in the back of the net, and they had another chance as well, which was blocked away. But they were very quiet. They were very not in the game at all, really. That goal seems to have woken them up a little bit. I imagine Diego Simeone's had a few words with his side since going behind, just to let them know. And if it's 1-0 at half-time, he'll get into them again. But here comes Gray.
Yeah, unbelievable touches from Gray, and a great ball as well towards Colomwani. Lays it off for Simmons, plays it first time for Matthias Tell. What a chance this is for him. He puts it straight at the keeper, and Musso denies Tell for the 4th time in the opening 35th minute. What a chance for the Frenchman. Had to score. Atletico Madrid have given it away again. Here's Tell. He's taken down on the left. Nothing given in the end. What an opportunity.
Yeah, they can't handle him, can they, Matthias Tell? It's brilliant football, though. It all starts with Archie Gray. It's almost a trademark, isn't it, from Gray, just to shift it from one boot to the other at such pace. And he finds Colomwani into Simmons. That is a brilliant ball from Xavi Simons. First time, round the corner, between two defenders. And it's a good first touch from Tell, but it opens up on his clearly weaker left boot. And he just tries to pass it into the far corner. If it's me, I'm putting my foot through it to try and beat the goalkeeper. It's still a good save, though.
That's really with the laces, doesn't he? He felt uncomfortable approaching the shot, didn't he? Even his body movement, the way his shoulders were moving around, you could tell it wasn't necessarily his ideal chance. You can see that with his finish. Well, he's forced 4 saves from Musa already in this one. I mean, that is quite something. Foreign target from Matthias Tell. Now see Griezmann up towards Ruggieri. Plays it back out to Ruggieri again. He's going to go towards Griezmann. Back to Ruggieri, who is on a yellow card, of course. Cardozo finds Lenormand. First time ball into Hanko. Molina on the right hand side with Simeone. Llorente makes the run and he gets it off his man as well. Llorente bombing forwards up against Van de Ven and Spence. Simeone turns away from Tell. Let's come to getting a little bit better in these situations, but of course there still is that danger. What a big moment that would have been if Tell scored to make it 2-0 with only 1 goal in it on aggregate. With this long left of the game, could be a moment we come back to later on. Tottenham maybe blew it, as we now see Ruggieri whips it in. It's well cleared away by Romero, then a strike from distance from Alvarez. I believe they have gone for a throw-in.
Yeah, they wanted handball there. It does strike the arm of Colomwani, but it's potentially too close for the referee to give it. I love the way that Marcus Llorente is moving around the pitch so far. He's making some brilliant runs in behind. He's playing a central midfield role alongside Cardozo, but he's almost like a right winger at times because he's just making that third man run and really causing some problems. But here comes Spurs.
Here they come on the attack now. We see Xavi Simons plays it towards the left. It's just way too close towards Molina. Easy recovery for him. 37.5 minutes on the clock. Hanko's going to clear his lines towards the far side. He boots it all the way out, and Molina keeps it in play. He finds Griezmann. First time ball towards Simeone. It's a poor one. Van de Ven recovers it, and he plays it all the way back for Vicario, where the game just picked up a real bit of intensity. Yeah,
it's open now, and I think that's because Madrid feel that they need to get a goal. They need to restore that 3-goal advantage, and if they do, of course, Spurs then need to score 3 more again to win the game, to even get back level in the game. So it would be a huge ask if Madrid were to score again. You just feel that Tottenham are playing with a little bit of confidence. It's nothing that we've seen from them in the last few weeks. As mentioned, Tudor's tenure starting with 4 straight defeats, but that draw against Liverpool, maybe that's just given them something, because they look like a totally different side.
You see Van de Ven lays it down the line, looking towards Tell. It's going to be Colomwani who finds Spence. Tell turns away again. Good footing from Molina, who won the ball. The referee makes that very clear as well. 38.5 minutes on the clock. Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Should really be 2-0 as well. What a chance Tell just had to grab a goal. It was well saved by Musa, but the poor shot did everything for the goalkeeper. As we now see Alvarez plays it across. He plays a poor ball intercepted by Xavi Simons, who looks to carry it forward, stabs it in towards Kolo Muani. Pops out with a really poor outside the boot ball down the channel. It isn't going to find Matthias Tell. Llorente gets there first. Well, perhaps out. It's nice to see him have a good performance at Anfield at the weekend. He can be a good, busy midfielder, but he's had a great season. Of course, puts him back to his best in that game against Liverpool. We now see Lenormand back towards Hanko again for Ruggieri. Lookman turns away from Dragusin, plays it into Ruggieri again. Pulled down the line for Alvarez. He's been shoved to the ground by Van de Ven, who followed him that whole way almost into Atletico Madrid's final third.
Yeah, he's on the edge of the box, isn't he? Alvarez, as he gets fouled there by Van de Ven, who is of course a brilliant defender. You almost have to feel for him really, because he's been in a Spurs side which haven't helped themselves. You see Dragusin as well is doing a very similar job there on Lookman. He's then committed a foul, but he's following Lookman all the way back as well. It's actually Porro who's the guilty party in the end, but yeah, there's an obvious tactic there, isn't it, from the Spurs backline. They've gone with 5 defenders, they've gone with 3 centre-halves, and whenever anyone in that front line for Atletico Madrid drops deep, they're following them.
See Cardozo goes all the way back to his goalkeeper from the free kick. Bit of a risky back pass. Musso just boots it forwards under a little bit of pressure. Cardozo wins it back. Now Griezmann is going to carry it forwards. When he's got involved, he looks as calm as ever in possession. Molina down the line, well intercepted by Jed Spence. It looked like it could have been. He's given away a free kick. A couple of times now Jed Spence has given away a free kick, and he's not agreed with the referee at all.
Yeah, there's been a few Spurs fouls in this first half, but I think that just speaks to the intensity that they're playing at. They're playing right on the shoulder of the attackers. They want to win the ball back as quickly as possible. Just a little bit overzealous there, Jed Spence.
Yeah, he caught him, didn't he? The former Nottingham Forest and Leeds man. 1 minute on the clock. Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Toby Alderweireld in attendance today on the Spurs centre half. With a partnership like him and Vertonghen, couldn't they, for good Spurs this season? Yes, we know the likes of Van de Ven and Romero can be good. Maybe even play for Atletico Madrid. Toby Alderweireld he did as well. Maybe that's why he's in attendance today, because it's his 2 former clubs.
He played a lot more games for Spurs, it's got to be said. Just the 12 league appearances in his 2 years at Atletico. But yeah, it was in the back of my mind there that I'm sure he had played for Atletico Madrid. I can see him in the shirt. Yeah, I don't know. I imagine he probably would favour Spurs, wouldn't he?
Especially they're probably sorting him out with the hospitality tickets as well. So we now see Matthias Tell. He cuts his hand, goes for goal. He's forced another save from Musa. I mean, this is quite something. He's forced 5 saves from the goalkeeper. He'll be sick of the sight of the Argentine shot stopper by the end of this one. Dragusin just thought about dragging his man down there, didn't he, on Alvarez. Almost takes the yellow card. He doesn't, but it's Matthias Tell once again singing the palms of Musa.
Yeah, he's racking up the efforts, isn't he? Those shots on target are almost all by Matthias Tell, the goalkeeper. Although not difficult saves up until now, he will be frustrated, Tell, that he hasn't been able to beat him.
Yeah, we now see Ruggieri goes in towards Cardozo, all the way back. Once again, it's going to be with Hanko towards the right-hand side for Lenormand. To Llorente, bit of a press from Spurs, wanting to end the half strong, but it's Atletico Madrid playing some really nice football. Griezmann picks it back up, Colomwani's with him the whole way. Griezmann turns away from his man, Colomwani's all over him in the penalty area as well, then drags him down. Matthias Tell steps in, lovely back heel from Llorente. Cardozo to the left for Ruggieri. Lookman wanted it in behind, didn't get it, he's frustrated with his teammate. Alvarez is going to hit it from distance. Oh, it just grazes the roof of the net. I think it took a deflection, did it, as well as he moved forward. We're going to see it back once again. Yeah, it just skimmed off the knee of Sa. That is so clear. It may have even grazed off the bar.
Oh, yeah, it's inches away, Kieran. It's a brilliant effort from Julian Alvarez. It does take a nick, and that makes it rise higher, doesn't it? You can see that on the replay. It comes off the sort of hip / upper thigh of Sa and just rises a little bit. It might have been inch perfect had it not come off him.
We now see this corner ready to be taken for Atletico Madrid. Their second corner of the game to Tottenham's 4. Griezmann, the man over it, ready to hang this into the area. Well, he was going to take it. Now he's going to go short towards Julian Alvarez. cuts inside onto his left boot and whips it into a dangerous area, headed away by Archie Gray. Then Simeone is going to hit from distance, well saved by Vicario, who tips it behind for a corner. I believe the strike even took a deflection itself. Vicario called into action.
Yeah, that is a huge stop from Vicario. It's going on target and he goes down to meet it, Vicario, but it comes off the head of Romero and the trajectory changes massively. He's already on the ground. He has to stay up as much as he can, raises his right arm. It's a brilliant stop from Vicario. Had the goalkeeper problems, didn't they, last week, but seemingly none this evening.
Yeah, as we now see, we'll go towards the right-hand side. It's Atletico Madrid ending the half really strong. Alvarez cuts inside, plays it towards the left. Nice turn from Simeone to get away from his man. Good footing from Christian Romero. I guess the only problem is for Spurs at the moment, every time Atletico Madrid get into the final third, you feel like they're going to create a chance, whereas you can't really say the same for Spurs at the moment. Here's Alvarez on the far side. It's actually Lenormand all the way forwards, up against Van de Ven, turns away from him. Really good work from Van de Ven as well, who then once again turns away. Fantastic ball for Porro as well. 2 minutes of added time. Can Spurs create one final chance of the half? That is woeful from Porro. In the end, the winner of 3, he may have even hurt himself playing that pass. It's an awful ball from him. No one's showing for it as of yet, so he throws it into the middle for Papsar. He plays it to the left-hand side for Manchester City. They're looking for him every single time, aren't they? At the moment, these Spurs players. Spence, he's going to look to go down the left-hand side. He finds Tell again, opens it up onto his left foot. He looks to hang it into the box. It's a terrible ball.
Yeah, he's looking tired, I think, Tell. He's had a bit of a half, hasn't he? As you say, he's been the best player on the pitch. 5 shots on target, just him. Not just Spurs, but that's just from him. As we see a replay of that latest save from Vicario. It's a brilliant stop.
Yeah, it's a really good shot in the end. I think it's because, of course, he commits himself down so quick, doesn't he? And then the deflection means he has to adjust his right arm. I'm fairly critical of Vicario most weeks when I see him. It's a good moment from him. Van de Ven plays it down the left for Tell. Nice back heel for Spence. Can they create the one more chance in this first half? Spence looks to get the better of Simeone. He goes down, wins the free kick, and it's great work from Juliano Simeone.
Yeah, I covered Atletico a few weeks ago as well in the league phase, and he was a standout, Simeone, in terms of his work rate. Always tracking back when he's asked to, and goes forward as well. It was his effort that forced that save from Vicario a few minutes ago.
Yeah, it feels like he epitomises the work I think his dad would want from him as well. Diego Simeone, the head coach, as we now see Lenormand goes towards the right hand side for Simeone, puts it into the middle for Llorente, who's in acres of space. That's poor from Spurs as Llorente just easily turns away from Sarr. Now it's going to go towards Ruggieri with Lookman with only about 4 seconds remaining of the first half. Griezmann hangs it in towards the back post. Jed Spence makes a mess of it, touches it out for a corner kick.
Yeah, couldn't get out of the way there, could he, Spence? I mean, there was a man lurking at the back post in Simeone anyway, so he had to intervene in some way. Out for a corner. We're over the 2 minutes. I think that's the point that Tudor's making. But they're going to be able to whip this corner in.
Yeah, they're going to have this corner opportunity. Tudor's saying that they shouldn't be able to have this. It's going to be Julian Alvarez who places the ball down, holds his left arm up, ready to whip it in towards the front post. It's a wicked delivery, well dealt with by Vicario. It's back in the area. Simeone then hits it on the volley, puts it miles wide in the end. Well, Atletico Madrid with a flurry of chances just before half time, going into the break, which should be any second now. It will be 1-0 to Tottenham Hotspur, 5-3 on aggregate. It's Colomwani with the headed goal, which means it is game on once again at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The halftime whistle has gone. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0.
Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far, so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matheus Tel to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and a Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matthias Tell to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matheus Tel to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matheus Tel to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matheus Tel to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matheus Tel to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matheus Tel to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matheus Tel to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matheus Tel to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matheus Tel to thank. He's been the best player on the pitch so far. 5 shots on target just from him alone, and it was his ball into the area that created the opening goal. A brilliant cross towards Colomwani, and the Frenchman's header across the face of goal and into the back of the net gave them the lead after 30 minutes. Vicario forced into a couple of saves late on in the first half, but it's half-time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Half-time, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So far so good from Igor Tudor's side, and they have largely Matheus Tel to thank. And it's a warm welcome along to this off-tube independent studio-based commentary and our coverage of the second half of this game between Tottenham Hotspur and Atletico Madrid. The game's just got back underway for the second period. Spurs have kicked us off. They go from left to right in the second half. Atleti from right to left, and as I said at half-time, so far so good from Igor Tudor's side. Defend themselves 1-0 up thanks to Colomwani's goal, but they largely have Matheus Tel to thank. He was brilliant in the first half. 5 shots on target from him alone, and he swung the ball in for the Colomwani opener on half an hour as Atleti win the ball back in opposition territory, then immediately give it away. No changes by the looks of it for either side at half-time, and no changes from the commentators either. It's myself, Tom Wilson, joined again by Kieran Graham. A good first half for Spurs. Atleti ended it quite well, Kieran, and Spurs might be a little bit wary of that. But the longer the game goes on at 1-0, I think the more and more we'll see Spurs come forward.
Yeah, we will, and the more and more Atletico will be happy to sit back and just invite that little bit of pressure as well, because they have that 2-goal lead. They can't expose themselves too much. We know the likes of Matthias Tell, Xavi Simons, actually, they're all really dangerous in counter-attack in that first half. The more Atletico attack, the more it plays into maybe Spurs' hands as we see the long throwing go in.
Yeah, it's flicked on towards the back stick. Tell's trying to pick up the loose ball, sweeps it back towards the edge for Xavi Simons, who's off balance as he hits the ball. It's won back by Cardoza. Great feet from the American, and lovely football as well from Griezmann. Forward they come, in towards the final third, all of a sudden for Lookman to give chase. He's got Dragusin to beat. Lookman wants it on his right, cuts it back towards Julian Alvarez. Can he get a shot away? He does, and there it is. Atletico Madrid draw level on the night. They restore the 3-goal advantage from defence to attack in the blink of an eye, and it's Julian Alvarez scoring against Spurs. 47 minutes in, Spurs won, Atleti won.
Well, what I was just saying about Spurs counter-attacking, Atletico Madrid have literally done it to them. VAR are going to check if Spurs should get a free kick at the other end of the pitch, which would lead to a very good shooting opportunity. We see Xavi Simons, he beats his man Julian Alvarez, he leans into him. Well, they give the same thing against Jed Spence in the first half. We see the counter-attack. I mean, it is a devastating one, isn't it? It's a lovely ball from Simeone in towards Ademola Lookman. It just looks a more complete player since joining Atletico Madrid. Mickey van de Ven, on the first time of asking, is really poor. Just turns away from Alvarez. It's a sharp turn from him. He then gets given the time and space to take the extra touch to turn, and it's a lovely finish into the far corner.
How does a player of his quality, someone who's played at the top level for so many years, he's got now 17 goals in all competitions this season, how does a player like that have the time and space to take 2 touches before hitting the ball inside the box?
It makes no sense, does it? But he's so composed. He doesn't just latch at his opportunity like sometimes we've seen Matthias Tell do in this game. He's not taken the extra touches to compose himself at times. I'm not sure if VAR is still having a look. I believe the referee gives a nod, and I believe the goal stands.
And rightfully so. It's definitely not a foul on Xavi Simons, who'd stayed down in the hope that that would influence the VAR official potentially. But it's Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 1. It was a mountain at the start of the game. They reduced that to a hill potentially with that 1 goal, but it's certainly a mountain once again. 3 more goals required for Tottenham just to draw level. You feel it's potentially tie over. You wouldn't rule anything out, but it's Tottenham Hotspur 3, Atletico Madrid 6 on aggregate. And the visitors in the driving seat, as Igor Tudor's actually picked up a yellow card for something he said towards the referee. He feels clearly that Xavi Simons was fouled, but to use the word that Kieran did a moment ago, it was a devastating counter-attack from Diego Simeone's side. There's going to be a throw here for Spurs. Well, this is where the goal just came from. It's on the opposite side this time though. Dragusin into the area towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's away from the goal scorer Alvarez, and then brought down on the edge of the box by Romero, who flicks it back with his head towards Porro. He's lost out. Alvarez comes away, and Atletico will try and break once more down the left-hand side. Llorente backwards to Molina. He dinks it forward. That's a poor ball. It's going to go out of play. They had their warning shot, more than a warning shot, Kieran, and they've played with fire once again from that long throw. Fortunately, though, it doesn't work out for Atletico Madrid on this time.
Yeah, exactly. That's so dangerous. They've got the perfect players out there to hit Spurs on the break. It sounds like Spurs just like a powerhouse midfielder to really break up moments like these. In wide areas, they look slow. The Tottenham getting back. Maybe the belief has just started to zip out of them. Simeone is loving this game of football. I think he instantly pointed towards his son when that goal was scored, because it was his composure to carry it a little bit and then pick the lovely ball to the left-hand side for Ademola Lookman. But I think he's enjoying this second half so far, Simeone. 5 minutes in, they look aggressive. They're not necessarily just sitting on that lead initially. They've gone and got the goal. They still look aggressive now, but here comes Spurs.
Yeah, that's great from Tell. Overlap from Spence. Receives the ball in towards the final third. Outside of the boot ball into the area. They want handball, Spurs. Spence is adamant. Then shakes his head as the referee indicates it actually hit him on the back of the head, and it won't be a penalty. It will be in possession with Atletico Madrid. Well, how great would it be for Atletico Madrid to win the Champions League? Twice runners-up with Diego Simeone. They have won 3 Europa Leagues in their history, twice with the Argentine. They've come so close on 2 occasions. But yet, so far as Atletico have it, they win back from Porro. Gray tries to steal it off the toes of Griezmann, but they've played out through Lookman on the left-hand side. Overlapping run from Ruggeri as he picks the ball up. 51 minutes played, Tottenham 1, Atletico Madrid 1, 6-3 on aggregate to the Madrid side as Llorente has it. Out towards Molina on that far right flank. Into the toes of Simeone, that's a poor ball from him, gives it away, and it's Gray who gets on the end of it. Great from him as he 1-2s it with Simmons. He opens up and hits one! What a goal that is! Xavi Simmons from absolutely nowhere. Again, you have to credit Archie Gray in the build-up. Well, what a second half we're having. Spurs 2, Atletico Madrid 1, and they've closed the gap again.
Yeah, welcome back to the tie. Tottenham Hotspur, they needed a goal ASAP, didn't they? They needed it as soon as possible. Xavi Simmons, we said in the first half, we need to see a little bit more of him central. Archie Gray, that's brilliant. He doesn't just win the ball back. He steps in, he does something with the ball. He plays the 1-2 with Xavi Simmons. He's looked really good today. It almost makes you think, why on earth is Archie Gray not playing in midfield a lot more? And what a finish from Xavi Simmons, just passes it into the far side net in pure composure from him. He had a couple players, he knew it. He almost felt Cardozo leaning into him. He kept his balance to get his strike off. It's fantastic from him. Just as good from Archie Gray. Well, Diego Simeone might not be enjoying it as much anymore.
Well, he was fuming, wasn't he, Simeone, last week when Spurs got that goal to make it 4-1. Of course, they went on to win the game 5-2, winning comfortably. It's got to be said still on aggregate, 6-4. You can see he was frustrated there. The fact that he decided to just come back into the game. They just restored that 3-goal advantage, and Xavi Simmons does that. It's a simple finish, really. It looks simple. He just opens his body, doesn't it? It's the power on the effort, though, that does the business. It just glides past Musso, who made a couple of good stops. He made a host of saves in the first half, but he couldn't get near that one. Yeah,
he couldn't. It's a really good finish. I'm not sure it's one of those where he's talking about maybe the goalkeeper's part. It's just a great strike in the end from him. Atletico Madrid have given it away again. Archie Gray nipped in, but he's giving it away now, and here come the Spanish side.
Yeah, Alvarez, the goal scorer, out towards the left-hand side for Lookman on the byline. Has Porro to beat, moves back in field for Alvarez, centrally now for Llorente, round the corner from him towards Molina on the right-hand side, in towards Simeone's feet. Llorente again, it's that run, it's a dangerous one, it's a dangerous ball in as well. Luckily, Romero reacted quickest as Lookman was lurking at the back post. It's into the hands of Vicario, and danger averted for now.
Yeah, really dangerous ball in once again that went across the face of goal, and Christian Romero, I don't think he really meant to do that type of touch that could have ended up in the back of his own net, but it didn't in the end. Liverpool have turned the tie on its head. They've got in the lead on aggregate. It's Hugo Ekitike popping up with the big goal in that one, so 2-0 at Anfield.
Yeah, you fear for Liverpool, even if they do make it through. They've got PSG in the next round, who of course absolutely obliterated Chelsea. Across the two legs, here comes Porro down the right-hand side. Loads of space for him to gallop into, and time to swing the ball in as well. It's flicked away by Hansko. Griezmann picks it up on the edge of the box. Good control from him, and then nods it forward. Brings it down to Lookman's feet. He goes backwards though to Ruggeri. No counter-attack this time from Atletico Madrid, who are third in La Liga at the minute. I mean, they're a huge chunk of distance away from Barcelona. They're 13 points clear of Atletico Madrid in first. It's a little bit tighter between them and Real Madrid, but no hopes of a La Liga title this year, you feel, for Diego Simeone's side. 6 wins in 7 coming into this one. Their only defeat in that run was a 3-0 loss against the soon-to-be champions of Spain, Barcelona, in the semi-finals of the Copa del Rey. Had 1 goal in this one, which has quickly been cancelled out. There's a coming together there between Dragusin and Lookman. There's going to be a yellow card brandished for Ademola Lookman. It didn't look like much to me, but we'll see a replay. And you clearly thought, Kieran, that something untoward had happened.
Well, he's lashed out. He's lashed out at Dragusin. I'm not sure if he's tried to pick up the ball and accidentally just give him Dragusin a whack to the chest. I mean, he just swipes his arm across. What on earth is Lookman doing there? He goes to like shove him in the chest. I mean, it is a yellow card. It's nothing more than that. I don't really know what on earth he's thinking, Ademola Lookman, to even do that at this stage of the game. It's not that reckless. I don't know why Dragusin's still down. It's just a silly one for him.
Yeah, pathetic from Dragusin to stay on the floor. I think it makes me think whenever this happens, what do their friends and family say? We watched the game tonight. We thought you were really silly when you went to the ground for 5 minutes after getting pushed in the chest. It's ridiculous. But Lookman's in the book. I mean, Dragusin fouls him as well. It's a lash out, and of course he shouldn't do it. But there is a foul there from Dragusin.
Yeah, there is, and that's why he's done it. I just don't necessarily agree with it. Lookman doing that, or even risking that, to catch him a little bit higher, and he's probably sent off. And you can even get sent off stuff like that. You've seen it happen before. Not that we agree with it, but the 2 goals up just need to settle. And Simeone is making that exact point to his side. He's saying to them, just calm down. Let's not almost rise to this. I think this is what Spurs want. People like Lookman to be lashing out. It shows they're getting a little bit tetchy in this game because Spurs need it to be like that.
Bayern have doubled their lead at home this evening. Bayern Munich 2, Atalanta 0. Pedro Porro booked as well, by the way, for his involvement in that coming together. Harry Kane got the first, by the way, for Bayern Munich. He's also got the second. It's 2-1 to Spurs in our game. 57.5 minutes gone. You're listening to Off-Tube Independent Studio-based commentary. There's a free kick then for Atletico Madrid. Forward from Hanchko, Dink towards the final third, away by Van de Ven. Underneath it is Cardoso. He flicks on towards the left. He's collided with Colomwani. It looks like a head injury. Referee not interested. He's definitely seen it. He's had 2, now 3 looks, and then does pause play. Clearly feels that Cardoso actually is injured. This is an interesting call from Daniel Siebert. He's maybe just aware, Kieran, potentially of maybe a little bit of gamesmanship now.
Yeah, exactly. And we're starting to see the challengers fly in, aren't we, in this one. This time it's Colomwani just catches his elbow into the side of the head of Cardoso. These players going down. He's just working for Atletico Madrid. They're just killing the momentum of this game completely. Liverpool are now 4-0 up at home to Galatasaray. They've just scored 3 goals in 4 minutes.
Wow. And Bayern Munich have also just got a very quick third, just moments after a second. Unbelievable from Liverpool, though, isn't it? I mean, they were 1-0 down from the first leg. It's like buses, isn't it? You wait for one, and then apparently 3 come at once. I mean, that's not even a cliche, but Liverpool 4-0 up on the night. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, it's slightly mental. This time a single on goal. We just see Vicario being booked. I'm not really too sure why, but he's been yellow carded, I think, for maybe some protest towards the referee. Another silly yellow card.
Yeah, it's getting feisty out there now, you have to say. Just under an hour gone. Tottenham 2, Atletico Madrid 1. 6-4 to the Spaniards, though, on aggregate, as Cardoso seemingly fine. He tries a 1-2 with Llorente. It's picked off by Sarr. Spence then loses out to Griezmann, then puts a challenge on Cardoso. Referee says play on as Sarr has it to Xavi Simons. Could have played the ball through the lines there to Colomwani, but didn't see it or didn't want to. Either way, loses possession. Lookman tries to go around the corner. It's won back by Spurs. That's a great touch from Porro. Colomwani leaves it for Simons. Simons to Pedro Porro. Oh, it's a brilliant save. Outside of the foot effort from Pedro Porro. He clearly thinks he scored. And then a sprawling right arm from the Argentine goalkeeper keeps it out. What a move, what a finish, what a save.
Yeah, I just think because he goes with the outside of his boot, he doesn't get almost a maximum amount of power. It is an unbelievable save though. He's caught it pretty well, hasn't he, Porro? But what a save that is. Almost from the forearm of Musa. 5th corner of the game for Spurs coming up now, but big moment. Pedro Porro, of course, he scored in the first leg, didn't he? He scored the first goal, I believe, for Spurs. He so almost scored a big one there, right on the hour mark.
Liverpool's gone back to 3-0, by the way. That fourth has been disallowed. Ball into the area from the corner. It's battled by the centre-half, Romero, and then the other centre-half, Dragusin, gets his header on target. It's straight into the arms of Joan Musso. He doesn't have to move too much for that, but he has had to move in this game. He has had to work. Spurs have not let Atletico Madrid off lightly. 10 shots on target now for Spurs this evening. I mean, don't get me wrong, Kieran, not all of them have been right in the top corner, but Musso has been forcing some pretty good saves, and it's a totally different Spurs side to what we used to seeing this year.
Yeah, you can tell the message to Spurs has been quite clear. The fact he's not all black in colour and a more unregular goalkeeper. They've really tried to test him. He's met a lot of it though, hasn't he? But here's Lookman, plays a lovely ball for Ruggeri, who goes for goal. He's forced to save this time from Vicario. What a second half this has been.
Yeah, now we're gone. Tottenham 2, Atletico Madrid 1. The flag's up for offside on Ruggeri, but you did get the shot away and you did force a save, and that will just show Tottenham Hotspur that Madrid are still in this one. Even though it wouldn't have counted had it gone in. It's just a reminder But it's not all your way. Here goes Tell, best player in the first half, quiet in the second so far. Gray across to Porro, he's giving him some work to do as Lookman's back there trying to win possession. Here's Dragusin. Just looks like a puff of breath as he plays that ball. Has a look towards the bench. He's of course had his injury troubles this season, and whether he thinks he's going to be replaced or not, or rather wants to be replaced, we'll wait and see. He's not moving overly excitedly as Romero has it now. He's slowed things down. Sweeping ball out towards the left hand side where Xavi Simons is totally unmarked. Brings it down. Once on his right, moves in field for Sarr. Sarr opens up, he hits one from distance, that's blocked away. He falls to Porro inside the box. Can he get it back across the face of goal? He goes for the effort. It's punched into the air by the goalkeeper. It's going to trickle out for another corner. Maybe the wrong decision there from Pedro Porro.
Yeah, I thought he was just going to flash it across the face of goal, but he's up for this, isn't he? He's trying to find the far top corner. Another corner kick coming up, but Spurs are well on top now.
Yeah, they certainly are. The game has really turned on its head in this second half. Lynn Norman's speaking with the referee, as is Van der Ven. Griezmann, the captain, coming across to see if he can help. Coming together potentially, didn't quite see it. 62.5 minutes gone though. 6-4 in aggregate to Atletico Madrid. A corner though for Spurs. Matheus Tell will take it. He'll raise his right arm in the air. He'll swing his right boot at the ball. In swinging, high lofted towards the back stick. The heads go up. It bounces off the head of Sarr, who could never really make the contact. It's a glancing header at best from the Senegalese international. It's out of play, and with that we're going to see the first couple of changes for Atletico Madrid. Looks like Sorloth is one of them. He's coming on for the booked Ademola Lookman, which is no real surprise, and the other man coming off for Atletico Madrid, I think it was Koke, was it, that was coming on for the Spanish side. Koke comes on, and it's Molina who goes off for him. So Molina and Lookman off, Koke and Sorloth on. So potentially a change in shape. Maybe Llorente filling in at full back. Yeah,
Llorente will go to right back. He plays right back most weeks for Atletico Madrid, so I'd be very shocked if he doesn't go over there. Koke is needed in this at the moment. They need a little bit of leadership out there, do Atletico. I'm not surprised to see Lookman go off. Of course, the yellow card, he just a moment ago not followed Porro down the right hand side, which allowed him to pick up the ball in extra space. And I saw Simeone, he waved both hands around like he was almost dancing in the nightclub, and then turned around and wanted to throw his suit jacket on the floor. So I'm not too surprised that Lookman's gone off.
Ball on the left hand side with Xavi Simons. He's been electric in this game so far. Great ball over the top. Jet Spencer with work to do, battling for it. Shrugs off the challenge of Llorente. Lenormand comes across. He's doubled up, and it's too much in the end. That's great feet back there from Koke. His first touches is to Meg Archie Gray as Atletico Madrid keep possession. They play it back dangerously towards the edge of their own box where Colomani was lurking. He's unable to win back possession as Madrid come away with it down the left-hand side. Liverpool thought they'd had a fourth a few minutes ago. They now do. Mohamed Salah has got that one. Here goes Sorloth, his first touch into the final third. He's got some support from Ruggeri. Uses the Italian on the left-hand side. Big chance, big challenge though. Comes across. Mickey van der Ven. It's an excellent intervention. And out for Atletico Madrid corner, but they're still in this game. Atletico Madrid, they're showing that they can break on the counter and cause problems.
Yeah, good sliding challenge in. He's risky. He flies in slightly reckless. He gets it right though. Van der Ven, it's a big challenge. Destiny Udogie getting ready to come on in a moment as well.
Corner for Atletico Madrid first though. Julian Alvarez will take it. Gary seems to have come off quite poorly from that challenge. Although it was a fair one, it was a strong one, and it was uncomfortable for the Italian. Alvarez will take the corner, raises his left arm, then right boot at the ball towards the back post. The heads go up away towards the edge for Koke. He's going to hit it first time. It's deflected inside the area, not dealt with. Griezmann tries to keep it alive. He bounces it off. Dragusin, it's out for another corner.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I thought the offside flag had gone up in the end. I think it has. The referee just didn't notice it. Yeah, the offside flag went up in the build-up, maybe against Antoine Griezmann, but Atletico Madrid, they respond pretty well when they concede goals, don't they? It's a real good mentality thing.
Yeah, they were brilliant, I think, at the end of the first half. When they were 1-0 down, of course, got one back, but Spurs reacted immediately. There's that change that Kieran mentioned. It will be Dragusin to come off, but we just said a few minutes ago that he was looking a little bit leggy. You can understand he's not played much football as of late. On comes Destiny Udogie. So it'll be either he or Jed Spencer will play a little bit further forward, you would imagine. Keep an eye on Pedro Porro as well, because he's already been booked in this one. Yeah, first change for Tottenham Hotspur. It's rather expected, I think.
Yeah, interesting. Not gone with a like for like in Kevin Danso, has he, for Dragoos injured, and maybe thought that Danso could have been brought on as well, because he does have a long throw on him, and we've seen quite a lot of those go quite wrong for Spurs so far, but they've not opted with him. They've gone with Udogie, who's definitely slotted in at left back for the moment, so I'm not sure if Jed Spence is just a little bit more advanced. We're seeing it almost set up now. Well, Jed Spence has gone to the right hand side. Poro's now moving playing it right way.
Yeah, it looks like he is as Spurs come forward. Tell down the left hand side, ball into the area is dealt with by Cardosa back there defending. It's all Spurs though as they come forward once again. Van der Ven to Udogie. I think Tell's offside there, is he? No flag. And wave play on, says the referee. Tell backwards to Udogie. 67 minutes gone. Tottenham 2, Atletico Madrid 1 on the night. It's 6-4 to Diego Simeone's side on aggregate. Romero tries a lofted ball into the area. It's way over hit and out of play. Past Destiny Udogie out for a goal kick. You just get the sense that the next goal is so important. If Spurs get it, it is most definitely game on. If Atletico Madrid were to equalise on the night, you'd say it could be game over.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like game over when Atletico levelled it, didn't it, at the start of this half? It just felt like such a sucker punch blow for Tottenham in that sense. It was the great response to find the Xavi Simons goal. I guess for Spurs it's a case of you get another before even the 85th minute. You still have quite a lot of time just to really go all out at Atletico Madrid. They want it as soon as possible, obviously, to try and get back in this one. You can sense more goals for Spurs.
Simons takes the ball on the turn on halfway. Overlapping run from Udogie. It's just slowed down as they wait for more Spurs players in white shirts to come and join the attack. Sarr from Van der Ven. Van der Ven round the corner to Gray to Tell to Udogie. First time ball into the area from Udogie, looking for Colomwani. It takes a bounce, and it's a interesting and unconventional stop by John Musso. Well, he's been a busy boy this evening. Does just enough with this one. Great build-up though.
Yeah, really good build-up. Nice ball to the left-hand side. First ball in from Udogie. Hanko. I mean, that's what happens when a more newer goalkeeper comes in. They just felt like the little bit of lack of communication between the two of them. That's a good challenge from Tell. It's heating up this game. It's feisty in the middle of the park. It's perfect for myself and Tom watching as neutrals in this one. All we can ever ask for as commentators is a great, entertaining, fierce game of football. We're getting it now.
Yeah, it certainly has been that. Here's Soloff from Atletico Madrid. Strong challenge comes in by Romero. Referee waves play on. It's out towards the Argentine. Julian Alvarez on the left-hand side. He's got past Van der Ven and he's in behind. Bye-bye, Mickey Van der Ven. He beats one more as well. Still going. He gets a shot away. It's blocked at close distance by Vicario. In the end, he just made his way almost too close to the goalkeeper. Porro does enough to win a goal kick from Koke, but what a move that was.
Just sent Van der Ven back to Wolfsburg, didn't he? Julian Alvarez. That is not once but twice. Not too sure who the other player slided in was. Was it Jed Spence who was flying across? I mean, what a run. Not many players do that to Mickey Van der Ven, do they at all? I'd be surprised if Romero's not been booked. He has been yellow carded for his early challenge. I mean, what on earth was he thinking with that tackle? I mean, he just flew in on Soloff for no real reason. I mean, that is a poor challenge. He wasn't in control of the boot that was flying up as well. He's lucky that he doesn't catch him higher. Sometimes you just think, especially with all the media noise around him over the last couple of months, what on earth could he even be thinking to put in a challenge like that?
Yeah, such a vital point in the game, such a vital point in the tie in the context of Spurs season as well, but he gets away with just the yellow for Christian Romero. 70 minutes gone, Tottenham Hotspur 2, Atletico Madrid 1. You're listening to Off-Tube, independent studio-based commentary. As Soloff brings the ball forward down the left-hand side, infield now to Koke. The two substitutes combining backwards to Alvarez, about 35 yards from goal, and then safely for Cardosa as they just keep things ticking over. Soloff from Koke, shows too much to Romero, then Porro wins the throw. Well, we are 3/4 of the way through the game. It's been a really interesting watch, particularly this second half has been ever so exciting. And we'll hand over to Kieran to take you through to full time.
Yes, we now see the ball with Van der Ven, 70 minutes on the clock. And now see Papsat goes all the way across, looking for a ball in the middle for Matthias Tell. Great turn from him, who's going to carry it forwards. He now has an option to the left-hand side, looking for the ball for Udogie. Now it's Griezmann, turns away with it. Griezmann plays all the way for Cardoso. Now it's Cardozo in towards Hanko. Well, Bayern Munich have made it 4-0 at home to Atlanta. Luis Diaz with the fourth. Atletico Madrid are driving forward to the exit space now. It's Koke. Ball to the right hand side for Simeone. He's up against Udogi 1-on-1. Koke balling behind for Alvarez, who takes it first time. Well blocked by Archie Gray. Archie Gray's coming across and he's dealt with it really well. Fantastic work from the young Englishman. He plays a decent ball down the channel. Strong challenge on Colomwani. He gets back to his feet. Doesn't claim for the free kick. Terrible touches from Colomwani though. And here's Koke, and now it's going to be a free kick. And a yellow card that goes the way of Udogi. Now that seems a little bit harsh.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's just come on, 10 minutes ago, and it's his first challenge. It's a minimal contact on the top of the boot. Yes, he makes contact. Yes, he doesn't win the ball, but it's a really, really simple foul. It's not one I don't think that should be given a yellow card.
Yeah, yellow card in the end for the substitute. So he's walking that tightrope. But once again, you'd feel like it should be all Spurs at this stage of the game, pushing for something. It's all Atletico Madrid. Lucas Bergvall is getting ready to come on as well, a bit of a fan favourite at Tottenham, of course. Lucas Bergvall, the Swedish international, just awaiting for that change to be made, or he looked like he was getting ready to come on. They're going to let this free kick be taken first. The Atletico Madrid fans in that corner where the free kick was to be going absolutely mental, supporting and cheering their side on. See Alvarez stabs it in towards Cardozo. Nice from him, and Romero's brought his man down and he's on a yellow card. He's pleading in his innocence. He's going to get away with it, Romero. And once again, I mean, it's such a poor challenge from him. He's getting away with it. I mean, Cardozo's beaten in the final third, running into a bit of space. He's probably lucky there.
He's a lucky boy, absolutely. I mean, I'm of the opinion that not every foul is a yellow card. I don't think this one is. But he is very, very fortunate, and they'll have to be careful. I mean, they've got a couple of players on yellow. One of those is about to go off in Pedro Porro, but Christian Romero, he's very, very much walking a tightrope.
Yeah, he is. Pedro Porro has made way for Bergvall. That'll be interesting. Does that mean Archie Gray goes towards the right-hand side? That would be a shame, because he's having a really good game in the middle of the park. Or is it a case of they're just back into the back four of Jed Spencer's the right back? That definitely could be the situation. As we now see this free kick ready to be taken. Griezmann the man over it. He's got a few options. Julian Alvarez, I'm not sure if he's maybe preparing to wind up a shot from this angle. 14 shots for Spurs to Atletico Madrid's 13. And Alvarez is opening it up and he does hit it. He goes for goal. It lands on the roof of the net. It takes a touch off Vicario and goes for a corner.
It's a brilliant effort, isn't it, from a brilliant footballer who's had a great game. It's over and over, then round the wall. Vicario rises for it. What a stop that is. He's made some brilliant saves this evening.
Yeah, it's a big stop in the end from Guillermo Vicario. As we're waiting for this corner to be taken. 74 minutes on the clock. It's Atletico Madrid pushing for the next goal, which really does surprise me in this one. It has to be said, as Alvarez still the man over it, lifts his hand, he's ready to hang this into the area to the front post, and it's a glanced header from Hanko, and he finds the back of the net, and that could be game, set and match in this one. A big moment. The marking is really poor. Vicario's stranded at the centre of his goal, and it's Hanko that wheels away celebrating. 2-2 on the night, 7-4 on aggregate.
Yeah, they've been brilliant this evening, Spurs, but in the end it's just not going to be enough. They've been totally different to the Spurs that I've watched so far this season. If they play like this for the remainder of the Premier League games, then they're not going to go down, absolutely not. But they're just not good enough this evening against the Atletico Madrid side, who had done their work in the first leg. 2 goals now though on the evening. It's just too much to ask of Tottenham Hotspur, and it's a simple corner for how well they've played. They've not defended this corner very well. It's in towards the front post, and as you say, Hansko gets there, and it's a simple header, a flick towards the goal. The goalkeeper stands no chance in the back of the net. It's a brilliant save from Vicario to set up the corner. And Atletico Madrid may feel that they should have scored, they should have beaten him. They didn't, but they have now. It's 2-2.
Yeah, they just lost all control, didn't they? Tottenham, since getting the second goal. I mean, how did that even happen for Spurs? As we now see Jed Spence, he's under all sorts of pressure from Alvarez, who's taking it off him. It's a big mistake at the back, and Alvarez is one-on-one. He's opening it up, he goes for goal. It's blocked, and it's going to trickle out of play. No, he's not going to trickle out and play it for a corner. Alvarez has kept it in. For some reason, Ruggieri hangs it into the box, headed away. What on earth was Jed Spence doing in possession there? Great challenge from Ruggieri. Atletico Madrid in this last 10 minutes have been unbelievable. As we now see Koke, but what a chance for Alvarez.
Yeah, they've had spells in this game to kill the game off, Kieran, and you'd say that they've probably done that now, but they've been brilliant. As you mentioned a few minutes ago, it was they that was pushing the game forward. They look more likely to score, which you just wouldn't expect given the context of the scoreline. Here they come again.
And it's a ball down the line for Soloff. He's too strong for Spence. He goes for Cole and it's well blocked. Time for a corner. I mean, Simeone is going to be absolutely delighted.
Yeah, they're so dynamic, this Atletico Madrid side. Brilliant run from Soloff, who, for a big lad, he does move well. As you mentioned, that mistake, just seeing a replay of it now, Jed Spence all on his own inside his own half, but he should release the ball one way or another, and maybe Julian Alvarez should make them pay. He had to play that across, didn't he, to Soloff?
Yeah, I think Jed Spence wasn't too happy with Vicario for being given the ball in the end, but I think that moment maybe not just sums up the last 10 minutes, probably sums up Spurs' season. Really, is there's a corner whipped in, dangerous delivery, falls towards Simeone, who goes for goal, blocked away by Romero. And now it's going to be Tell, heads it on for Colomwani. Here comes a rare attack over the last 5 minutes for Spurs, as we now see Colomwani turns away in towards Xavi Simons. It just slows down for the time being. There's no real options on the right hand side, as we now see Tell driving at Simeone, cuts inside, good footing from the Argentine. He's been unbelievable, hasn't he, Simeone? Now see Llorente come away with it. 3 goals, it's too much of an ask, you'd think, for Tottenham Hotspur now, as Romero has got to that stage of the game where he's gone wandering forwards, hasn't he? As we now see Sarr goes to the left hand side for Tell. He's up against Simeone, looks for a ball into the box, it's well cleared away, only as far as Archie-Gray. Now it's going to be with Udogie. Cuts inside again, he's going to still go on his own. Sarr for Xavi Simons, he's up against Cardozo. Plays it to the right hand side. It looks like it was slightly under hit. Jed Spence gets there first, takes it away from Julian Alvarez, and lovely play, puts it through the legs of Soloff. Better from him. He's frustrated with his team, and then the switch ball from Simons is really poor. And here come Atletico on the break again, and it's Romero who puts in the challenge. And he's flying about, isn't he? It wouldn't surprise me if he gets involved in a bit of chaos soon.
Yeah, and just on Simons as well, he's been brilliant in this game, but even he now is looking a little bit leggy. It's been a long evening for Tottenham Hotspur, and they've got a long remainder of their season, even though they're not in this competition anymore after tonight. They've still got a relegation battle to contend with, and yeah, Xavi Simons, clearly it has been a long season for him. It's been a long night. He's played brilliantly, but it might be his time to come off now, because you can see from that ball there, just not enough on it.
Yeah, of course, Saturday is a massive game, or whatever it is that they play on the weekend. Really big game. Kevin Danso, Luesi and the former Atletico man Conor Gallagher getting ready to come on. And just awaiting this to be taken. Spurs, of course, are playing on the Sunday at home to Nottingham Forest, a couple hours before the cup final between Arsenal and Manchester City. Bergvall with a long throw-in into the area. It is a long throw-in as well, but it's well headed away by Soloff. Now it's going to be Udogie, brings it down, finds Xavi Simons, turns away, to the right hand side for Bergvall. Nice touch from him. He's on 1v1 against Ruggieri, darting into the penalty area, plays it in. He's clearing for handball, nothing given in the end. Now it's going to be Archie-Gray, back to Bergvall once more, plays it down the line for Archie-Gray, who's going to get there first. He looks for a ball hung up towards the back post. The header's won by Tell. It falls back down for him. He's been quiet this second half. Koke has been brilliant since coming on. He's added real experience and almost a calmness to the game for Atletico Madrid, but Soloff gives it away. Archie-Gray clips it towards the left hand side. Terrible ball from him, and here comes Koke again. He's just been everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been brilliant. Since he came off the bench, you mentioned that they needed a little bit of leadership, and he's definitely provided that. And the game, actually, since he came on, it really has been in their control, hasn't it? I think Spurs are going to make a triple change here.
Yes, we now see the triple change getting ready. Like I mentioned, Danso, Gallagher and Olusi coming on. It's going to be Gray, Tell and Romero to come off. That seems sensible to take off Romero.
It certainly does, yeah. I mean, the night's already, maybe on the night, it's not quite a bad evening, but in the context of the tie, it's pretty bad. But it could get worse if they lose their captain, if they lose anyone in this one. So off he comes, and rightfully so.
Yeah, exactly. That you start to run around like a bit of a headless chicken, didn't he, going into challenges as well. But Olasesi, Dancer and Conor Gallagher enter the field of play, so they'll add energy, maybe just for a little bit of pride more than anything, to try and get another goal, try and win on the night as well. Winning on the night against a side like Atletico Madrid could do them the world of good, thinking about it, but let's see if that does work. Just see those changes being made. Of course, he did just join from Atletico Madrid, Conor Gallagher, in the January window, so we'll know these players very well.
Yeah, absolutely. He came off the bench as well last week, didn't he? In the defeat in Madrid, and by all accounts, I think he got a good reception from both sets of fans. I'm sure he has as well this evening. Again, he came into Spurs at a difficult time, and if they do stay in the Premier League, which you expect a club of this size to do so, I'm sure he'll have a good season next season. But yeah, against his former side tonight, I imagine it's a little bit humbling for him.
So now see Dancer in towards Jed Spence, goes back to Kevin Dancer once more. He finds Vicario, opens it up for Van de Ven. Now it's going to be with Papsat. He's going to carry it forward. 82 minutes on the clock. Feels like we've hit that stage of this game where it is game over. But Spurs just trying to create anything. Just saw a stat then, in the last 15 minutes, Spurs have had 0 shots when pushing to get into this game. Atletico Madrid have had 8. And that just shows maybe the difference in class between these two sides. Griezmann getting ready to clear his lines. He's been quietly very good today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been a couple of them, hasn't there, that have been just getting about their business sort of under the radar.
As you see Bergvall goes all the way across towards the left-hand side for Conor Gallagher's first touch as he finds Udogie, cuts inside, good challenge in from Simeone, great touch as well. Udogie's got to be careful, dragging him back, takes him down, stops the counter-attack, and it's a free kick. Is he in trouble in this sense? I don't think he's going to get a second yellow card, but I mean, the list can go on for good performances for Atletico Madrid. But Simeone is another one. He's been brilliant.
Yeah, down that right hand side, Simeone and Llorente, since he's gone to fullback, but even when he was in central midfield, he was basically playing on the right next to Simeone. They've both been brilliant. Muso's made so many great saves in the game, you have to say. Sort of 3 other defenders that I haven't mentioned there, Lenormand, Hanchko and Ruggieri, of course, the middle of those 3 scored the goal. Molina, before he went off, was a little bit quiet. I think Cordosia's gone about his business quite well. As you mentioned, Griezmann's always good, isn't he? When does he ever have a bad game? Alvarez has been great. Sorlof's been brilliant off the bench, as has Koke, and some more changes coming now for Madrid.
Yeah, Julian Alvarez getting ready to make way for Nico Gonzalez. Argentine for Argentine. Well, it's his goal right after half-time that really kick-started things for Atletico Madrid to just go to a bit more safety in this game. And Alex Baena coming on for Griezmann. They're not bad players to be bringing on.
Certainly not. I mean, the ones going off are brilliant, aren't they? Griezmann and Alvarez. I really say that the latter has been the difference on the night tonight. Of course, got the first of the 2 goals for Madrid. And of course, that was immediately answered, wasn't it, by Tottenham Hotspur for them to go back in front. And just say again, he's been brilliant this season. And to find that room inside the area and the finish as well, excellent stuff.
Yeah, we now see Papsat in possession again. He's seen a lot of the ball over the last 10 minutes or so for Spurs, but hasn't been able to create anything. We now see Udogie turns away from his man, looks for a forward ball for Olusesi, finds him, plays a 1-2 with him. Udogie back to the young substitute who's up against Llorente. It's well cleared away by Marcos Llorente. And a ball in the middle, free kick goes the way of Gonzalez, who wins it from the challenge of Bergvall. 85 minutes on the clock. Remains 2-2 on the night, 7-4 on aggregate. Big one for Atletico Madrid. Some of the absentees who could have played a big part today, like Pellinia, Bentancur and Richarlison watching on. Just the Tudor now, it's not been a fascinating spell for him so far.
No, it hasn't. I mean, this has obviously been the best performance that Spurs have had under him. Probably the best performance that they've had since probably Ange Postecoglou, since that Europa League win. I mean, that game wasn't great, the final, but they got it, and you can say that was a great night. But yeah, this has been their best performance. It's a shame that they won't go through based on this performance. they might not even get the win on the night. They'd have to get another goal to do that, but he has been much better, and I think the Spurs fans will take some confidence from that certainly going into the weekend's game against Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, you see the ball go into the box, and now it's in the hands of Vicario. Vicario in possession, finds Papsat. Danso turns away from Soloff. He's going to clip it in behind, looking to Olusesi. Turns away from his man. Really good work from the youngster. The number 52 is driving forward. He's got an option to the right. It's not a great ball. He finds Colomwani in the end, and he's offside. And he done so well, the youngster, but in the end, the man that he's finding is offside. Poor ball.
That must have been really tight. I thought he looked miles on there, Colomwani. I mean, the pass is on for maybe 3 or 4 seconds, Kieran, and he does it at the last second. If he is offside, it's really poor from Olusesi. You can understand that. He's a young man, isn't it? It looks like Atalanta have got a consolation on the night. The amount of goals that have been scored in this round of 16 is unbelievable. 5 in Munich, 4 in Liverpool, 4 in London in our game. Of course, the amount of goals that were scored yesterday, but also 9 goals scored in the game between Barcelona and Newcastle. Unbelievable stuff. It's great watching.
Yeah, it is. As we now see the change being made, Uruguayan Jimenez, just to show things up a little bit at the back. But yeah, as Tom mentioned, what an unbelievable phase it's been. And there's going to be some great ties as well, of course, coming in the quarter-finals, which are essentially set now. It's going to be Atletico Madrid to face Barcelona. That's going to be a great game. They've met each other a lot of times this season, a couple of times in the Cup as well. Bayern Munich against Real Madrid, a final worthy in itself, and Liverpool against PSG, who have history from last season. Then of course, Sporting Lisbon against Arsenal. You expect Arsenal to go through that, but like I said, I covered Sporting Lisbon yesterday. They were unbelievable.
And Sporting have got recent history against Arsenal. They beat them in the competition a few years ago. That was in the round of 16 potentially. I might be wrong there, maybe even the round before that, but there is previous between those two, and as you say, the rest of them, they could be finals, couldn't they? Liverpool versus PSG, that's the Premier League champions versus the current European champions. Real Madrid versus Bayern is absolutely huge. Atletico Madrid versus Barcelona has got so much context to it. I think Atletico probably would have preferred someone else, I'd imagine. The fact that they played just a few weeks ago and got beat 3-0 by them gives them maybe a lack of confidence going into that one, but it's the Champions League and anything can happen.
Well, they've lost 3-0, but they've still gone through over that cup tie, because they've beaten 4-0 the week before, so I guess as much as losing 3-0 could be demoralising for them, Simeone will want to focus on the 4-0 just before it. Yeah, that could be a great tie, a really good fixture between those. They all look like really good fixtures, don't they, in the quarter-finals, but we now see Bergvall on the right-hand side. Nothing really happened over the last few minutes. Xavi Simons picks it up. He's going into a penalty area. That should be a penalty, and it's going to be a penalty for Tottenham Hotspur. It feels like it's coming a little bit too late, but Jimenez, with the cameos of doom, really, that Simeone is not going to be too happy with. Simons just chips it over the boot. Chips it through the legs of Jimenez. He clatters into him. It's lazy defending.
Yeah, exactly the word that I was going to use. He points to the ball there, Jimenez. Absolutely no chance. It goes through his legs, doesn't touch him. He goes flying into Simons. It's a great run from Simons, and he's been brilliant in this game. Looked a little bit leggy, I mentioned a few minutes ago, but he's going to take the penalty, and I think his performance deserves a goal. And to be honest, you could say that Spurs deserve to win on the night. Certainly not going through, but on the night, probably been the better.
Yeah, of course, if he does score this, that will be his brace for this one, after he strike from distance. Approaching the 90th minute, of course, a victory against Atletico Madrid, like we said about 10 minutes ago. A victory on the night, of course, could do the wonders going into their next few fixtures. Xavi Simons takes a deep breath. It's a stuttered run up, and he sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. It's a good penalty for Xavi Simons. 4 minutes of added time. There's not enough time for 2 goals, but they're winning on the night.
Yeah, they're winning on the night, and as you say, it's a victory against a side that are third in La Liga and have been brilliant, as you said, through to a final of the Copa del Rey, through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. That's going to give them some confidence in the remaining league fixtures. Yes, not enough on the evening, but positive result.
Yeah, and I think that's why Tudor is really celebrating that one. He'll be happy to get a victory finally as well, in charge of Tottenham. It's technically going to be his first win in charge of Spurs. I believe it will be, which could be quite the moment for him. He will have certainly needed that. It's actually 5 minutes of added time. As we now see Dancer in possession. Well, I guess if they score in the next 90 seconds, you never know.
Yeah, well, we might be in for a long evening if that does happen, Kieran. I mean, the home fans, they'll be excited by that goal, won't they? We could see that on the replays. And if they come forward, you just never know.
As you now see Gallagher goes down under the challenge from Koke. It'll just be pure defending now coming up for Atletico Madrid, and it's got to go now for Tottenham if they want anything from this one. Now see Sarr across towards Van de Ven. Now it's going to be for Danso, who finds Jed Spence. He's under a little bit too much pressure, and Atletico Madrid forced them all the way back, and they really needed to go for it in that moment, didn't they? Tottenham Hotspur. Vicario boots it long, a bit of a percentage ball that's easily won by Hanko. Solov takes it into his stride. Bergvall gets in front of him though, comes away with it, and he's been brought down. It's going to be a yellow card for Sol.
Yeah, that was so easy, wasn't it? He was definitely going to give that all day long. They'll do anything now, I think, just to run the clock down, just to halt Tottenham Hotspur from coming forward. They don't think they'll be worried at Atletico Madrid, but rather safe than sorry.
As we now see the ball across towards Papsa, who finds Xavi Simons. Hangs it up towards the back post for Dancer. He wins his head and flick on. Here's a chance, and it's Colomwani with the strike. He's blocked. What a chance for Spurs, and then he tries to put it across the face of goal. It's blocked again. Now it's into the penalty area. Lasesi jumps for it. Well, it's cleared away. Well, what an opportunity, which would have given them 3 minutes. I'll come to Tom in a moment. Bergvall with a flick, and Ruggieri clears his lines. I know it's blocked, but he has to score.
Yeah, the confidence is flying though, isn't it, for Tottenham Hotspur? It's an angle which really favours him. The defender gets in the way. The goalkeeper probably would have saved it anyway, but it's a big moment in the match. Let's say if they score that, the roof would have flown off the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah, Bergvall's long throw, it isn't the best. It falls to Sarr. His volley is into a penalty area. Gallagher goes down, wanting a penalty. Nothing given. Van de Ven goes for goal. Goes for a corner. And VAR are going to be having a look.
They are going to have a look. The referee on the night, Daniel Siebert, has been adamant with every decision, Kieran. He's indicated almost immediately with everything that he's given this evening that this is the decision and I'm sticking with it. So it'll be really interesting to see if it does go to VAR, what sort of reaction he'll give. There's a turn there from Gallagher. He never has control of the ball. He's leaning into Koke. I think it's soft. Of course, Tottenham will shout for it. I don't think it's a penalty.
Yeah, I don't think there's much contact at all. Pushing and shoving in the penalty area. Just feels like all this time being wasted. Well, they have to score right this second, don't they, Tottenham? They have to score from this corner for any form of chance to get back into this one. Xavi Simons hangs it up towards the back post. It's still in there. Jed Spence hits the volley. It's cleared away. And here come Atletico Madrid to kill the game off. Everybody's forward. Alex Baena is driving. He's not got the pace. And Jed Spence, that is unbelievable. Recovering. Well, Alex Baena, you've only been on the pitch 5 minutes, mate. Looks like he was towing a truck.
Yeah. Jed Spence's pace is unbelievable. Simmons trying to make it go the other way.
What a chance that was for Atletico Madrid. Kevin Danso steps in, but he gives away the free kick. That will be that. And in this one, well, a really entertaining game. There's still, of course, a minute left, but it's just been too much for Tottenham in this one. But so many talking points. What a fantastic game.
Yeah, you wouldn't have given them a chance, would you, before the game? But they've never fully been out of it, Tottenham Hotspur, you have to say. They got the opening goal on the night. There was an equaliser, but then almost immediately they clawed it back, Tottenham Hotspur, to retake the lead on the night and keep that as a 2-goal buffer. And they got the equaliser again on the evening. Atletico Madrid, they came forward looking like more the likely. But then even at this late stage, Tottenham Hotspur got the penalty. Simmons scored it. And we never really thought they were going to do anything. They never really thought they were going to come back. But they haven't totally been out of the game. And they have been the better on the night. And that says something.
Norman was just going to absolutely clatter into Jed Spence there, but there's the challenge. The 5 minutes are up, so we can't imagine too much long left. Well, it was Colomwani who kicked off the scoring in this one, which made it feel like it could be game on. It could be a long night for Atletico Madrid, but right after half-time, Julian Alvarez just quietened those thoughts with a lovely finish himself. Xavi Simons, within 5 minutes, put Tottenham back in the lead, but Hancock with the leveller on the night to make it 2-2. Xavi Simons then scoring his penalty in the 90th minute, but that is game over in the end. On the night finishes Tottenham 3, Atletico Madrid 2, but it will be the Spaniards that progress. Thank you for joining.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities.